Let's go
Ta-ta.
already.
Hmm.
Oh no, we're actually going. That's good.
Sorry, and this time I'm drinking water as we're going live because that's
You're
typically
the
what
one
we.
who pushed go, and you're like,
Oh, I
I know what
did.
I'll do. While I
Wait.
wait for StreamYard to talk to YouTube, I'll slurp
Okay,
some water and.
but in all honesty, every single one of our live streams, all 87 of them prior to this 88, has been
Mm,
us saying, "Are we live? Did we? Is it
yeah.
really? Does it happen?" So either
So now you're just showing everyone your drinking problem. You just
absolutely,
like,
absolutely, it's an H2. Oh, baby, you know how it is.
oh,
Yo. Oh man, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I see we already have a few of our friends here. Actually, Marilyn's in there kicking it with us,
yeah.
as well as Ron Guido just joined us. Michael Peppertech, of
Mm-hmm.
course, and of course Slomo Joe. And I want to say,
Scoop.
Scoo Bionic. Hope you're doing well, man. And then, of course, thanks to Slomo Joe. Actually, one of my one of two followers that actually subscribed to the YouTube support thing that I ended up doing, but I don't. I appreciate it. What I'm trying to say is thank you. Don't know how to.
All right, I'll
I'm
be
I'm
nice to Slow Mo Joe, I
I'm very
guess.
new to this. I'm not like Juan with Patreon and all of that stuff, and him dropping private, personal stuff on Patreon, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's like my
hey,
personal diary.
it is your personal diary, and I keep getting
Love it.
notifications on it. It's like one of those. It's a personal,
Yeah,
public, no, semi-private,
I
semi-private
make a
actually.
lot of stuff. Yeah, we got Twin Folk, Darren, Peter Teaglin,
Hey,
Barry.
Mr. Barry Johnson. I was actually, as I was getting ready, setting up the show and everything, I was watching
Mm-hmm.
Barry and Michael Peppertech's, live stream behind mine.
Nice.
So, kind of catching up a little bit on some of the other stuff. It's been a busy day.
And Michael's calling you out. Like if you're watching Michael Peppertech's show, he's trying to get your attention, and you're. I apologize on behalf of TK, Michael, that he's
I,
being so
okay,
rude
so
and inhospitable. I mean, it's just the
I,
way TK is. He's he'll
he's
cut
a
you like
flake.
that.
He's a
He's
flake.
cold.
Yeah, he'll be
No, I
like,
was gonna
he's
make
here,
it
he's
way more
cool one day.
nefarious than.
Oh my God, you're gonna make it sound like this that one creator that embezzled money from everybody, asking them
I'm
for
gonna like build up a whole bunch of rivalries for you. Just people with grievances against this TK that I've just made up.
yeah, there's a massive subreddit on that one. That no, actually,
R anti TK.
so with that
TK
being
not
said,
my bay.
oh crap,
Oh snap!
that's how I get kicked out of the club. I
It's a
understand.
hashtag. It's hashtag activism.
Yeah, well, I mean, so the thing about it is, I didn't get a chance to live stream next Saturday, because I miscalculated the time of when I needed to. Well, my son had a swim meet, and I didn't get a chance to calculate exactly what time we needed to show up. I thought we needed to be there like around
Oh
9 or 10,
yeah.
so I was going to do the show a little early. No, no, we needed to be there like at 7 a.m. because
Ew.
there's check-ins, there's warm-ups, it's the
Mm,
first meet of the season after school started.
I
So
remember those days. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So sport events, and then of course, because my son is swimming, we are all parents are required to volunteer for timing, and I had a timing session, so it's not like I could have just skipped it. So yeah.
Right.
Long story short, it was an eventful day. He did very well. He improved on all of his numbers, and he was indoors somewhat, so it was nice. It wasn't too much outdoors and not too much heat, but
Very
it was good.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's the
Well,
kickoff. So.
and Slow Mo Joe, congrats, and let
Yeah,
him
no,
know
I
that a whole bunch of internet geek strangers
I
were
did.
pulling for him.
No, no, no. I did. I did. I showed him everybody's supportive comment on Saturday. At the end of the day, as
Nice.
as everything was kind of showing up. So because I posted it on YouTube, I still don't have a community access on my channel on the Android
Oh
Bay,
yeah.
so I can't post on the community. I can't like let people know there. So I've always had to post on the TK Bay channel on Twitter and like Instagram and
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like
like
if I have something go on and I have to cancel a Twitch stream, it's like I guess I'll tweet
yeah, but
that
it
I'm not gonna be on
on
Twitch.
Twitch, and then you're like, hopefully Twitch will, you know, mind
Great,
melt. Yeah, exactly.
right?
So hopefully at some point I'll get the community tab, but I feel like any channel should have access to a community to be able to help,
Hmm.
build the community. No pun intended.
Right.
But yes, thank you. So that Saturday was nice. I should be back this Saturday with the Android Bay. We have a lot of stuff to cover. Um, Juan and I got a chance to to play around with a couple of things that I didn't even realize. So okay, take that back. Juan has pushed out a video today on the
Yes.
GTS series of the new Amazfit. I'm going to be pushing my GTR video tomorrow because
We
both
did
got
not plan this.
no, no,
And I felt bad because I feel like you and me, we both, and again,
because we
we
talk, right? It's not like we
are
don't talk. We
our
converse.
our rhythm of smartphone video reviews falls into a sync. I mean, we're just on a wavelength. But I think that we both
Yeah.
also got stuck in the same trap where it was like, I really do like, I get a fitness tracker or I get a smartwatch, and I definitely want to try these like fitness
Oh, the
features. I
fitness
don't want to
features, yeah,
just
absolutely.
like count my steps. But when we got these watches, we were going from 90-degree weather in Southern California to like 105.
For
And
a
it was like,
while,
I
for like weeks.
can't, yeah, I can't take this out for any length of time and not die. So I felt like I
You'll
lost
be
an
able to
entire
track it
week.
as you're crashing, but
Yeah, really, it's like the barometer. Well, you dropped 5 feet. That's
what happened?
hilarious.
Yeah.
But
Your
at the
face
same
is in the
time,
ground.
like
Why do you not
we
stand
got
up?
them so close to the official reveal. Like we got them
No,
days
I
before.
got mine
Technically,
after.
we had them under embargo, but like I
No,
couldn't use it.
yeah. So you got yours ahead of mine. I got mine because I was like
Like on the
reaching out.
day.
No, not even. It was 3 days later. So
Oh,
I was
nice.
like, because they're all like information, all that stuff. Like I said, if you don't get me the watch in time, I don't know how I even be close to it. She said, unfortunately, there was some issues and whatever. The GTR had much more either limited or something because a lot of other people did have them. So long story short, we
Hmm.
fell into that, and then one thing led to another, and 3 weeks later, we're still, you know. So yeah,
And
I
it
finally got around to
happens.
do it. I'm in a weird way. This week is kind of like my cleanup week. I'm having to catch up on some things that I didn't have a chance to put out. So last week we put out the U Perfect, and of course I did the Huawei, the Mate XS2, the GTR 4 tomorrow, and I'm kind of prepping for the next week. Next week is going to be an exciting week for everybody.
Right?
Not hinting at anything, and
Hmm.
I'm hoping that I'm right, and that we will be able to talk about certain hardware next week. I don't know.
Sure.
We'll see. But yeah, so we
Yeah,
do
like I was
some.
like, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited. We'll see.
Yeah, well, because I can't. Yeah, it is. We'll see. We don't have any. I mean, I don't have any hardware. It's not like I'm saying I'm sitting on it. It's Team Pixel is a blessing, and unfortunately, we have no idea of when things show up and if they are going to show up. That's the other thing. If there's a big if there.
Twin Folk is
So
calling you out. He doesn't believe this for a second. He's like, show us your pixels now. Do it
let,
now.
I'll show you the pixels. It's called PPI. It's a 7.8 inch
Well,
display.
I'll show you. This is my Pixel 6 Pro with my sticker from Lex on it. This is the worst case that has ever been sold first party from a manufacturer. It's gotten even worse since when we did the TCL event.
Oh
So
man,
like the plastic is now all cracked down by
I
the
got it.
speaker vents,
I
and it's
think what we
hard
need to do, we
peeling.
need to set you up a GoFundMe or something like
And
that for a new
it's
case.
lovely and tea colored. And no, I'm holding on to this
Oh, you can
until the
hold.
Pixel
No,
7.
no.
I'm gonna say, like, I don't do case videos. I just don't care.
Yeah, no, I
This is
know.
gonna be my airing of grievances
Okay.
that
You're
Google should feel bad about this case. This
okay.
case is bad, and Google should feel bad. This is one of the worst cases I've ever used in my entire life. And when the Pixel 7 comes out, then I will replace the case on my Pixel 6 Pro.
I get it. Well, then we don't have to do too much because next week on the 6th, I keep wanting to say the 7th. For some reason in my mind, it made perfect sense for Google to release the Pixel 7 on October 7th, but then the 6th. So I
Nah,
guess it's the 6th.
that doesn't work. That would have
Uh,
been way too clever.
it would have been way too organized.
Yeah.
Should
You gotta
they have
you gotta
organized it at
plan ahead
the
on
same day
stuff
they were
like
turning
that.
down Stadia? Maybe they can do it then. No.
Are we gonna talk about that? Were you into Stadia? Is that a
Very
thing?
briefly, very very briefly. I
Did you spend
had
any money on that though?
I don't know if I did. I want to
Okay.
say I got the controller, right? Remember, like they had
Right.
that special where you were able to sign up, you get the
Yeah.
controller and so on. And I want to say I may have paid for 1 month. I don't know. It was so long ago, and I use the
Hmm.
controller now to play video games in my car. So
Oh,
because it's a
that's good.
USB-C controller, yeah, no,
Yeah.
Tesla's support of other things, they support controllers when you're playing video games when you're parked. So this is, so for me, it just sits in my car. Um, but yeah, no, I could never really kind of jumped on Stadia for the most part because Nvidia's GeForce Now for me worked so well.
Right.
And I found that I also had like my library of games, everything that I like to do on it was there. So it's sad. So not to segue too much, but into the announcement that as of January
Hmm.
2023, I think the 18th, if I'm not mistaken, Stadia servers will be shut down, and basically the server itself, the service itself. I think Barry was commenting on that as well earlier. Yeah, so Barry bought a couple
Hmm.
of games as well on there. So
It
yeah,
looks
I
like
mean,
Scoops used it and spent money on it. So what I'm going to be curious to see the breakdown,
yeah,
because Google came out in their official blog. Like again, this is one of those things where news comes out and then you're going to see a bunch of like hot takes from
yeah.
tech sites, but you could
That's
just go to Google
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean, I
read
got a letter. I
their
got an official letter
press
from them too.
blog.
I think most
Um,
Stadia
so
subscribers should have received a letter.
I didn't jump in at all because when Stadia was kind of launching and it was really hot and everyone was really excited about it, I was still at Newegg, and so I just piggybacked on their account.
Hmm.
So I did use Stadia quite a bit, but for like a whole year, it was just on an old Newegg login on a Gmail account that they didn't know I had access to. So everybody
All
shut
of
up,
Juan's achievements are sitting
right?
on a separate account. Where is that
I
image?
mean, I did really well for them on Attack on Titan. Um, the thing that I really appreciated in their blog post is like straightforward to the point.
Hmm.
If you had bought games or bought hardware, that
Yes.
was just going to be refunded. But I'm going to be curious to see for any other ancillary or subscription or streaming costs if there's going to be some kind of. I don't see where that would be the refund. I think it would be the IP and the accessories that go along with Stadia. That makes sense for them refunding it. But it's always been the kind of tricky aspect of Stadia is you're sort of subscribing to a service and you're having to buy games for that service. And I really feel like that's where Stadia got stuck. It
Yeah.
couldn't
So hold on,
be.
I'm trying to do this in a realistic way. I don't know if it's even legible, but
Yeah, for sure.
essentially,
You keep playing with that. I'm just going to do this here real quick. Michael
yeah, yeah.
Corcoran spent $9 on Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but I got the controller and a free Chromecast Ultra for free because of my YouTube Premium subscription. So yeah, I would imagine that because you bought a game that you would get that $9 back. Twin Folk Tech has Cyberpunk and Doom on Stadia. I don't want to see. Did anyone else? Oh, holla at your boy. I bought Mortal Kombat 11 and Destiny 2 on
Okay.
Stadia. Michael Peppertech with the hot take. Google cancels another service. How do we trust them to not cancel support for the Pixel? Probably some website that's a tech review thing.
Interesting. So
Um,
they're covering almost all refunds. Insane.
no, that's it. That I mean,
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. They there wasn't any like, are you gonna have to ask them for it? I think the thing that Google
They were
just needs to
forthcoming.
clarify is
Yeah.
what exactly.
For the things that they're saying, there's not going to be
Yeah.
automatic. It's going to be done hopefully by the 18th, and it may
Hmm.
take some time. But we expect to be able to automatically issue refunds for a substantial portion of transaction as a credit to the form of payment used to make the purchase for purchases that
Hmm.
were not able to automatically refund. You will receive an email with the details on how to obtain your refund. So,
So I think
um,
this is,
huh,
as compared to many other Google canceled projects, I did appreciate this seemed like the right way to kill a
they
project. I didn't really see where Stadia was going to have legs. I
they
really
sh-
felt from a tech standpoint it was the
yeah.
best example of this technology,
Yeah.
but
I remember, if you remember, Cyberpunk 2020, 2027, wait,
2077
2077, not
played the
2027.
best on Stadia. It was playing better on Stadia than
Yeah,
any of the consoles.
it was like seriously barking everywhere, crashing on everything, and Stadia was the only one that made people were able.
Right.
And I think that was the push where I kind of liked it because I jumped on it a little bit, although it ran fine on my PC after a couple of updates. Yeah, so
I
I would have.
I I
It's tough.
um
It's a tough
yeah,
market.
no,
Let's just say that. It's a tough market. Subscribing and
it
buying
is.
is a little bit hard.
But what I was hoping, and this is where I still have frustration with Google in the way that their teams of engineers get like shuffled around so aggressively for
That's true.
whatever's hot.
Hmm.
What I was hoping is Google would make a more concerted play because they kind of dabbled with it, but no one really took them up on the tech.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they weren't
they were
pushing it
putting it out
too.
there. No,
Yeah,
they were putting it out there that
they
maybe
weren't trying to.
Stadia could be the backbone of another service.
That's true. Yeah, there was
So
some talk about
Stadia
that.
was a proof of concept where they could show like, hey, this game streaming stuff has legs, and very aggressively after Stadia launched, we saw GeForce and we saw XCloud. I
Yep.
mean, like that stuff that it made it
And
so much
G4
more
stepped,
tangible.
and they stepped it up, and XCloud has stepped up. Xbox basically,
Yeah, XCloud
yeah,
is a lot better now. Yeah.
it's legit. It's legit. I mean, not only can you buy things because if you buy the games, you're able to play them, but you also
Hmm.
you get a massive library of really nice AAA titles. So for
Right.
me,
Yeah,
Xbox
so
really
Microsoft
hit.
Game Pass is the
Yeah,
Netflix of gaming because you have the
yeah,
catalog and you have the streaming. So you
yeah.
have both in one. Stadia was sort of the worst example of that, where you have the streaming technology and you pay for the streaming, but then you also have to buy the game. And what I really was hoping was that Google was going to be able to spin this off as like a side revenue. So Google isn't the front end,
Hmm.
but imagine being able to pay a $10 a month subscription streaming service to have access to your Steam library anywhere you have
A
a web
browser.
connection.
Yeah, yeah, or a
Right.
browser
So
even. Yeah.
again, this is before we even had inklings that the Steam Deck was going to be a thing. I really felt, here's my, Steam Stream subscription service powered by Stadia. And I
Lean
would
Steam stream.
give
Yeah,
Valve $10 a month easy. Like just throw money at them. Here's my $10. Let me just stream anything from my Steam library like that
yeah,
because I already have that. Now that I own a Steam Deck, I don't care.
yeah. Well, now that I own a
So,
Steam Deck, I have no time for anything else. But
right?
yeah, dude, this is like the more I play with it, the more I like it, and the more games I keep
Hmm.
buying. Like just it's bad.
Well, I want to just, because you mentioned like a 2077
See, I almost got you
on
saying
Steam.
2027. Yeah, got
I
it. Yeah,
know
yeah.
it's going to become a strong bad joke here in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you gone back to play it again? Because apparently it's gotten
So
real good.
actually, this so I saw somewhere where there was an uptick in some games. So I have it still installed,
Yeah, like got a
but I
huge boost of.
yeah, yeah. So I haven't had a chance to replay it. But I honestly wouldn't mind trying it again because I want to see how it improved over it's been a minute actually, at least
Mhm.
6 to 7 months. I haven't even booted it up, but yeah. I mean, I bought the game at launch. I made sure to yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I finished it multiple times. Uh, I did the different courses and so on. But at the end, I think what
Right.
happened is I was waiting for more expansions, more open world, other missions, side missions, things that you could do to spend time and enjoy the experience. And um, so long story short, yes, I will be playing it again, but I have not recently. I did see the uptick, or at least the comment on the uptick. I don't have any analytics into 2077, but I do want to talk a little bit. So Stadia obviously is it is, I guess it is what it is at this point, and
Hmm.
it doesn't really come too much of a surprise for many people, even if you are a user or a non-user. The writing was on the wall in a certain aspect for some time, and at least like you said, Google is doing it right. They're making sure that people that spent money on the platform, they're not just basically losing it. They will get it back. So I mean, I'll find out on, I guess, come January if I did actually make a $50, because I remember you had to pay, I think there was like 1 month or something like that of the premium service to be able to get the controller for free, because that was the,
Yeah.
the the bundle. But long story short, we'll see. And if I do, lunch is on me, my friend. I'll take you out. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna supersize that.
Yeah,
Courtesy of Stadia.
yeah, absolutely, man. Basically, I'll be paying and saying thank you, Stadia. But
So, I don't know if the Edge Runners update. Lashawn is asking if that's out for PC. I don't know if Edge Runner is out for PC. I thought that might have been just consoles.
I don't.
Or I
Yeah,
have that totally wrong. I seriously haven't played the game. Like I don't know what's really going on there.
no,
But
no.
that there was news. So Farhan is bringing up
I
something
I
that we
was
should
about to
also
segue into that part.
tangent to. So go
Tangent to
ahead and lead
that.
it up. I'm gonna look up the cyberpunk thing. You take it. Go TK. Go.
Okay, so 5 years ago, no, I'm just kidding. So about almost 11 months ago or so, I had an opportunity to play with basically a pre-production tech demo of a Razer and Qualcomm gaming system that looked a lot like yours truly right here. But essentially it was running Android. It's a really kind of like a glorified version of a phone running in very good hardware that really leveraged the power of the SoC, but also leveraged better cooling, better audio, HDMI out ports, joysticks, all the bells and whistles, large battery. Um, and it was running the brand new SoC, the G3X SoC, and at the time they said it was going only to be available for developers, and that was the biggest thing that they started talking about it. And then lo and behold, this week, out of the blue, Verizon, Qualcomm, and of course Razer announced the production, or at least announced the hardware will actually be available for consumers as a 5G enabled, or I'm assuming 5G, but at
Hmm.
least it may be ultra wideband. I don't remember seeing that specifically. It says 5G. Um,
Yeah.
Mobile gaming platform, or basically a mobile gaming platform that you can go out and play games on. The one thing I want to make sure that it was clear, at least from the units we saw back then, and it could have been different there, it is still an Android based device. So it will run anything that runs on Android. It is not exactly a Steam Deck. So you have to keep that
Right.
in mind when we're talking. So it's not really trying to be a PC gamer. It's really trying to elevate your mobile gaming to the next level.
Hmm.
And I like that. I like the fact that, what they're offering us with that. And the hardware was very solid. Although they said it was pre-production, like seriously, if I would have just taken that and walked away, it would have been playing fine. Everything would have been great. So I'm excited for that. I'm wondering, why is it only on Verizon? I realize Verizon has a lot of exclusives. I feel like this should have
I
been
just when it
like,
comes to gaming, this whole like 5G thing is such an eye roll, and I want to be
well,
more excited about bandwidth, but the only
yeah.
thing that's really come to pass for 5G for me is areas where I know I used to have really bad network congestion issues on
Mhm.
LTE
Yeah.
are a little bit better on 5G. That's literally it. I'm not seeing radical differences in bandwidth. The only times you see screaming fast speeds is if you're standing perfectly still directly under millimeter wave.
Yeah, right
You
there.
balance on your left foot and
Dang, man,
you
look at the
you
Sony.
close your
Sony's today
right
on
eye.
chart. It's capturing
Yeah,
the
Sony's on
fingers.
point.
Like,
That was
come
great.
on, come on. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
And I mean, like, that's kind of cool, but
Yeah.
that's not really the key of a good gaming experience.
No, no,
Like,
no.
that doesn't make gaming better that you can pull
Well,
off an 800 meg download speed if you hold perfectly still and you don't breathe.
and and
Um,
and and you make sure the wind is not blowing too strong in the direction that you're in.
right,
Um,
right.
the biggest thing I think the conversation again, because it's still very few people have had actually time spent with this. I spent hours with this hardware. So from what they are offering, this is an Android device. This is running Android. So yes, streaming is going to be a big part of it for games that are like, Fortnite, PUBG, and things like that that require an online connection, or Call of Duty. But you're also going to be able to leverage, like Final Fantasy type games, install them like Undead Horde, things that you can install and
Right.
run offline. And I think right now, because it's collaboration with Verizon, they're really trying to leverage the mobile connectivity. So from that sense, makes perfect sense. You're right, but I don't think we need ultra wideband. Two
So
megabits down, or
I,
two.
I
Yeah,
appreciate the thing I like about the people who interact with both of our channels and like to jump into these kinds of chats here
have
is that
oh wait,
they
Simon's in the
seem
chat.
to understand that just because it's not built into the exact same chassis as like a Nintendo Switch or a Steam Deck, that doesn't mean that
It's
you
very
can't
close though. It's
augment a
very close to
phone.
a Steam
No, but
Deck.
what I mean is
Yeah,
this to me is like the trickiest thing. So when Farhan is saying like what do we think, or what's going on with this Snapdragon G3X? Yeah, like
keep
it's not
talking.
that we
Keep
don't
talking.
have
Yeah, I got you.
ridiculously powerful SoCs in our phones, and it takes very little to take a phone that you already own
Hmm.
and slap a controller on it, or a
Absolutely.
good dock, or some
Oh, or
other,
like a
or
GameSir,
Bluetooth, or
like the controller that you just had recently, the
yeah,
GameSir controller with
the game, sir.
the very
I just got this guy. This is the Riot official Xbox
nice.
controller for iPhones.
Oh, this is the format. What's it called? This is the format that you prefer.
Yeah,
The over, not in kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, because
yeah, I'm with you.
they're downstairs. So I told you, Lex likes playing Shredder's Revenge. So
Yeah,
my
yeah.
Steel series
Oh,
have
okay.
been downstairs. I haven't been able to plug him into my phone because she's like, "Hey, Daddy, do Do you want to play some more Turtles? And you're like, yes, I do. I do, daughter of mine. I do. So yeah, my GameSir has actually been getting a bit more, even more use,
That's
even though
good.
I'm not always plugging it in for the thermocooler.
Absolutely.
Sorry, short story incredibly long.
Absolutely.
People who are smart can understand I have a phone. The phone is already crazy powerful. I can
Yep.
add an inexpensive accessory to give it better game handling capabilities. And when we see something like this Razer, it's going to have the benefit of being a dedicated gaming device. So that's good.
Yep.
Most of your battery life is going to driving the game. It's
Yep.
still going to be Android, so
Mhm.
it's still going to have a lot of the same issues and concerns and compatibility as your phone. So I'm really anxious, like the Logitech, this Razer.
Mhm.
I'm really curious to see, are people going to gravitate to this and think this is the neat idea because it's built for the gaming, as
Mhm.
opposed to just like picking up a controller and attaching it to your phone? Because to me, that is almost identically the same performance. And one thing costs a
Wi-
lot
A lot
more
more. No, no,
than
absolutely.
the other.
This is so when I first held it. So I honestly, at the time that I first held it back last year, I had not had a chance to try out a Steam Deck. So Steam Deck at the time was still trying to get production hardware out, and they
Right.
were suffering from delays. Right? I mean, I remember your order was supposed to be like early this year, and you end up getting pushed a little bit. But the
My original pre-order was supposed to be like
uh,
end of 2021.
oh, it was end of 20. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the original shipping was like supposed to be just in time for the
Uh,
holidays.
I do apologize, my friend. Yeah, no, 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 no. Absolutely. So,
I've been
but
waiting for
at the
so
time,
long.
I did not get a chance to play with something else. But what I will say is, um, the focus with the G3X is that it's moving away from just using the standard nomenclature of just going in 8 Gen 1 and 888. This is obviously at the same
Hmm.
time that they announced the 8 Gen 1 series, right? They moved away from the 8, the standard numbering scheme on SoCs. The
Right.
biggest appeal for it for me is the battery life, the cooling, as well as the IO. So the IO is what really it's kind of like a
Hmm.
built-in dock, at least the hardware again. Pre-production hardware doesn't necessarily, there is a very high chance that what they're talking about right now, it has had a lot of updates. Some things may be missing. Let's just say that. Or something maybe they're
Right.
added. Um, but it's gonna feed primarily people that are kind of like not Razer, but like the old Razer phone fans, right? This is really going to appeal to that core users.
Hmm.
People that like the ROG phone or people that like the Red Magic. The biggest thing that we have here is it's really meant to be a Steam Deck. The one thing they could do to mess this entire conversation out is to overprice it, making it more expensive than a Steam Deck, or making it way more expensive as far as just because,
Well,
you
but
know,
TK, it has the power of the 5G.
absolutely. Which
Steam
I
Deck
do.
can't do 5G.
Yeah, it's trash when it doesn't have 5G. I know. I'm sorry. I
I
do
I
apologize.
mean,
Yeah, yeah. No, I know. I'm with you.
like Steam Deck only has 60 hertz. Thank you very much. 60 hertz and no 5G.
60 beautiful hertz. One hertz after another is the way I like to play the
I am
game.
going to mail you a trash can just so you can throw
Just
your
so I
Steam
can
Deck in that trash can.
yeah, actually, I am in need of because this is too much of an awesome
I
device.
can't believe you even just
It's going to be
said Steam Deck at me with
I think
only
it'll be
60 hertz and no 5G.
it will be a harder sell, like you said. It's more specific, very, very niche. Will it pick up? We'll have to see how it kind of goes out. But I think it's the introduction of the G3X series.
Let me just put
We'll
it out
have
there
to
right
see
now.
other iterations of it. I think this is just the
I am
intro. I don't think this is what's going to be making like
I'm
all the waves.
always, yeah, because I agree with you. I mean,
Yeah.
like we're still in the baby steps of this kind of
Yeah,
like
first gen. It's a first gen
Nintendo
SoC.
Switch, but I mean this Nintendo Switch competing generation of hardware. Like it took
And Nintendo made them
Nintendo.
popular. Yeah.
No, but I mean like Nintendo has been popularizing mobile console play for generations of consumers, and now we've got manufacturers going,
Since
wait a
the mid
minute,
90s.
you know what people might like? A way to play their games on the go. I don't know. That could be tricky, but like
I'm not
the
sure what you're talking about. Sorry.
right. But as much as I love this conversation sort of broadening, and I think Steam Deck shows us a very democratized and open idea
Yep.
of how you can play different games and how you can make games more portable, how you can interact with different game stores, game streaming solutions.
Yep.
You're not tied down to one marketplace. I
Mhm.
am going to be a little frustrated if a whole generation of these Android devices come out,
Mhm.
and then consumers light up to this idea, and that's the path that they go down. Like, if that's
Sure.
what makes this Nintendo Switch competition more viable, I'm going to be a little frustrated, because like for years I've been showing people like, pick up your phone, find these kinds of games in Google Play or on
Yep.
the Amazon App Store or Sideload, or back in the day when Humble Bundle used to sell Android apps. Go play these games. They're really, really good.
Mhm.
And that the only way that you could get them to play the same kind of games they've always been able to play was to buy a whole separate computer to do it, that's less well-rounded than like a good tablet. Like,
Mhm.
you could prop up a Galaxy Tab, pair up a Bluetooth controller, and have an amazing gaming experience
Oh,
right
absolutely.
now.
Absolutely. Right now. Exactly.
And I'm gonna be angry if they're like, oh yeah, but this is the best way to play it because it has controller buttons on it, and you're like,
It's another format.
you
I think
bought a
I-
whole computer just for buttons. That is the most ludicrous thing. That's like the most consumer knuckle dragging way to kind of build up a market. There is no other additional benefit, and you already can do it.
It is so from a form factor and usability. Absolutely, there's many ways of doing what the Razer gaming system is going to be basically doing for us. I think what
I'm
they're
gonna
trying
unbox this right now
right
and
now,
put
just
my iPhone SE on it just to be like, hey, look,
look,
it's a
I can.
gaming device now.
It is a gaming device.
It
No, no.
makes me
So
so
I think
frustrated.
what we're seeing in this is an exploration of a new. It's like for some reason I think Qualcomm this year decided that they're segmenting a lot of their a lot of their hardware. The G3X is a mobile processor. It's intended to be more focused in to leverage the hardware that it's going into. But like I
Right.
said, I think it's the introduction. I don't really feel like this is where it's gonna make
No,
it a
it's not where
thing.
it's going to live. No,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah,
no. I mean,
absolutely.
like,
I
again,
think it's
it's
gonna
just
move
like
into other devices. Yeah,
Steam Deck is not the end of this journey. Steam Deck is literally the first step in making
absolutely.
PC gaming
A very good
more
first step.
console accessible without it being completely locked up in proprietary walled garden.
And it may
But the
change.
thing
The
that
reason, what I meant to say is what we saw at the last at the tech summit last
because
year.
it was the end of December, wasn't
It,
it? That it was
no,
kind
no,
of shown off the first time.
it's the first. Yeah, so it's first week December, which uh, it was uh, it was only shown at the event and it
It
was never
was
shown
like
anywhere else. It was less
8 months ago. A lot
but
has changed in the semiconductor industry
well, what I meant
over
to
the
say
last
is
8 months.
even the final version of it may not. I mean, it may not even be running
I'm
Android.
sure.
That's the one thing I want. What they showed us was Android, and the only reason we knew is because we were able to swipe up and go home and open up the Google Play Store and download different games, which they told us
or
not to do later.
or I bet you it'll be running Android like a Fire Tab is running
Maybe, yeah,
Android
maybe custom
or
UI,
something like that. For
Razer
sure. I'm
leveraging
totally
their
with you.
their experience, and
Now,
Razer does have a
here's
library or like the way they used to have their Razer phone system. Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No, but here's the last little cranky one bit on this, because I really do want to be excited about it, but I want it to complement a conversation. I don't want it
Yeah.
to somehow this is the correct solution because gamers and marketing. But the other thing that makes me a little cranky is I worry
Hmm.
because Qualcomm can just kind of slap whatever random string of letters and numbers
Okay,
on a part, and I still can't get great data on what this gaming SoC
and that's what we need.
resembles.
Yeah,
And I
we
want to
need to
know
start
what the
to see.
GPU is, and I
Yep.
want to know what the CPU cores are, and the 8 Gen 2 is right around the corner. And some of the early leaks on what might be like the core configuration for the 8 Gen 2 could be kind of weird. I'm not I'm not sure.
Hmm.
It's
We'll have.
again, we're in a strange space in the semiconductor industry. I don't like it that you can obfuscate. Well, we're calling it a gaming piece of hardware, but what if it's only as powerful as a 765? and the only reason to buy it is that it's got buttons and triggers, and you're
Absolutely. No,
like,
I'm with you. I'm with you. Exactly. Is where is it? Where's the tree? Where's that branch off tree that we're talking about? You're right. And then remember, we also have the HCX series, which is their mobile computing SoC that's been out for a couple of years now. That are also leveraging basically Windows on ARM type of experience. The biggest thing that I'm hoping for here is that the implementation is done correctly. Razer putting in their resources and making it feel like a Razer, like truly feel like a Razer.
yeah,
At the time we played around with it, it literally felt like it was hardware that wasn't well, hardware that maybe was, I would say, probably felt like it was ready, but the software experience was very at its infancy. Again, we were able to swipe up and go home and open up the Google Play Store, and I don't think that's the intention of the system. It was just given to techies, and they put us in a room where they connected them to large displays, so they were literally leveraging the connectivity, the I/O, the gameplay, and then using it like, as a controller, and then leveraging all the hardware in there to push
yeah.
and have a 1080p stream coming out of it, or over HDMI, depending what they were doing. So for me,
So,
it excited
oh,
me, but
sorry.
we need to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. I want to see how they're doing it.
I wanted to again kind of transition and just I'm apologies to anyone who's listening to the audio version of this, because
It's
there's
like
so much crinkling
and
coming
then
from my
growing.
microphone.
Like
it's
I don't
bothering
want to
me.
see I don't want to see the right side of your desk, man. That's what's
It's bugging me. I apologize. It's terrible audio podcasting. You've been playing with your Steam Deck, so I'm not expecting anything crazy on the mobile side. Have you picked up any phone games or anything recently?
No phone games. Sorry, I've been picking up.
All right.
Oh my god. So
Like what was the last game you played on a phone prior to getting your Steam Deck? Because I'm sure you were still running some COD, weren't you?
COD is always, man. Come on, COD is life, dude. Come on, let's be honest with each other. Yeah, no. Call of Duty. I tried getting through some testing. I
Uh-huh.
was testing uh
Go
Genshin
on.
Impact. So yeah, no. I mean, I went back to testing Genshin Impact because of certain hardware changes. How do I be very vague without being specific? So I was testing something. Okay, I was testing something,
Okay. That is
and
vague and
that is
not
very vague,
specific.
very very nice
Yeah.
specific. And I was able to get 120 frames per second on Undead Horde, which is really happy about that.
Nice.
I'm also happy that I was able to get a really good frame rate that I probably will say I wasn't able to get, with the exception of devices that were sold by a company that end with knee, if that helps.
Okay.
What I'm saying is Call of Duty gameplay experience that you typically only got there. So let's say that.
Fair.
So yeah, Call of Duty, PUBG, typical, Undead Horde, Genshin Impact, Need for Speed racing, and as well as I just played some Stumble Guys with Roger brought
Oh,
earlier
that's good.
today. Yeah, I
Yeah, that's
jump in
fun.
because his is a gaming stream, so mostly still first person shooters. Let's say that. But Undead Horde for me is been ever since the
Did you
Red
get the
Magic.
patch?
The download. Well, so I just downloaded it fresh, so it should have been done. It should have been
Oh,
automatically.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
There was for the first time in literally years, 10 Tons put out a quality of life patch on Undead Horde.
Okay,
So
good.
now
Good.
when you go back to your little minions base,
Mhm.
where you can go to the fountain and kind of reheal and stuff, you actually now have like a little footlocker. So if
I
you've got
saw it. Yeah.
weapons that you
Oh,
want to
that's why
store, and
So okay, when I
yeah,
was
that's
playing the
new.
game, I was like, in my mind, I was like, I don't remember this locker being there. Like, when did this get
Yeah.
added? So yes, this was in. Yeah, this was already. Again, it
Yeah.
was a fresh
So
install.
what
Sorry.
I'm curious to see is they mentioned like a whole bunch of quality of life and performance improvements.
Mhm.
So now I want to try another run,
You may
like
want to,
kind of
yeah,
through
try
the
to
first,
see if you're
just
able to
see
get better
like,
frame rate on
are
some of
there
these
other
devices.
phones? Because obviously a Red Magic is still going to be able to crush that game. Like you've
It'll
got an
crush you
active
and cook
fan,
your
it can
breakfast
run
at
it
the
really
same
hot.
time. Absolutely, yeah.
Sure,
Breakfast
it
and
keeps my
and
coffee
game.
warm. It's amazing.
That's the way we do it. Yeah. Sorry.
You
Go
just
ahead.
set your coffee cup down and you're like, oh, it's boiling hot again.
And you hear the
But
fan.
we always ran into those issues, like Samsung's
Uh-huh.
and Xiaomi's spike and crash and spike and crash and spike and crash.
So
I've
Sam's,
literally only
yeah.
played with one Xiaomi phone
Mhm.
that could run any of the 10 tons twin stick shooters. without that radical frame drop, and it was the one phone that could do it was a MediaTek.
Oh,
None
okay,
of the
okay.
Qualcomm powered, even my Xiaomi 12s Ultra, back when I was performance testing it, could not keep a good stable frame rate for Neon Chrome, for Undead Horde, or for Tesla versus Lovecraft.
Okay, yeah.
So now I want to go back through. This is like 10 Tons has never done this. They've
Mhm.
never gone back and like patched one of their old Android games. So I'm hoping
Well,
this means that we're going to see a little bit better
version 2.
support.
It's not, obviously. So
Oh yeah, no, I know.
maybe when they were dusting off the code, they're like, "Oh, yeah, we could. Do we have
Hey,
time?
you know,
Can we?
if we want people to buy our sequel to this game, we should make sure that the game can run well.
Yeah. Maybe make it look like, hey, look, this is working great. No, so long story short, I noticed the chest. I was kind of surprised, and in my mind, I'm thinking, did I just happen to miss it for all this time I've played this game? Like it was never, but I never knew that there was an update. So I have to update some of my other devices that I have the game installed.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say though, now I'm playing it on the Steam Deck, which is already there
Yeah.
because you can.
Because
I mean,
Steam Deck,
because
right?
Steam Deck, yeah, because why not? I'm
Have
I'm at this point where I probably need to upgrade the storage, but that's just me.
you already? Yeah, you're already
Well, because
maxing
okay,
out.
I'll be frank. I do have an upcoming trip that I'm been basically very much. I'll say this: I've downloaded some games. One that I don't know why I downloaded, but I'm enjoying. I don't know why so much, but maybe because I have cats. But that's a different conversation. Um, you probably know which game I downloaded. But
I know
anyways,
exactly right. No one is like, oh, what mystery game could TK possibly be talking about?
I'm a master of disguise and vagueness, my friend.
A
But yeah,
riddle wrapped in an enigma,
in an
surrounded by
enigma,
mystery.
absolutely. But yeah, I downloaded some games. I mean, I've spent over $100 on games since literally not even a week since I've had it. So this is definitely a bad addiction. And then of course today, I don't know why I decided to pre-order the D brand bundle for the Steam Deck because I am like, I need to stop. Oh, but I
Yes.
hopefully in the near future should be getting the Xperia 10 Mark IV. I bought my own
Oh,
10
nice.
Mark IV from Amazon
I've
UK,
been
and
so curious about
I'm very
how those
curious.
run.
I haven't seen the hardware at all. I mean, in hand, I've seen pictures of it. It should be here next week, sometime late next week. I mean, again, I'm getting it through for UK, so there's shipping and whatever. But
Yeah.
the long story short, I'm excited to get a chance to get hands on with it. This is the Mark IV, the latest edition. That surprisingly they had one used. I don't know why people were buying them and returning them, but I guess I saved $100 because it was used. So or 100 pounds. So as opposed to 450, I paid $350 out the door with tax and shipping. So I'm excited for. I can never say that in the US. I bought an Xperia for
Yeah.
350. It just doesn't
Right.
exist. Yeah. Uh,
Well,
but yeah.
yeah, I'll be really curious to see your thoughts on that. I apparently I'm going to have to spend some time with the only iPhone left in my collection is the iPhone SE 2020. But so far, this little Xbox controller is it's pretty nice. It's a
Really?
little light. It's a little plasticky, but there's no like battery or anything.
Well,
It
that's what I
takes
was
its
gonna say.
power off the
Yeah,
phone,
the moment you said it was
and
light, I was like,
then
okay, so no
you
battery.
just plug
It's passive.
into the controller to charge the phone through
Oh,
the
that's good.
controller.
I like that.
So like, yeah, it's pretty decent. I'll have to give it a spin. We'll have to see. I like immediately because I have zero iTunes, Apple Store, nothing.
I was about
I
to
mean,
say,
like
tell us about your collection of your gaming collection on the iOS ecosystem. You were like,
none.
none.
So the mission is actually going to be great for Microsoft because I'm
Because
positive they
obviously,
want you to use
yeah,
Game Pass. So
I know. No, no.
that's
I
what
think
I'm going to play.
the purpose of this isn't to leverage iOS games; it's to leverage Game Pass. So this is the purpose of it,
Yeah.
obviously. So yeah, no, I'm sure and I'm sure the
And
A13 should be
it's nice.
perfect.
I'm sure there are a bunch of I don't know. I know they have Apple Arcade, and there's supposed to be a couple good games in there. But you know,
There'll be some
it's
stuff.
it's cool having a nice controller that's not ridiculously expensive to play mobile games. But yeah, Microsoft's hook is absolutely going to win on me. Where I'm going to play some more Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I don't know why it's been my X Cloud jam, so I'm gonna keep doing that.
I like it. I
On
should try
mobile
it out too.
though,
Yeah, I have xCloud as well. I think I still have my membership subscription still going.
so for PC gaming and for my Steam Deck, it's been Shredder's Revenge, just because I'm so excited that Lex is into it. I just picked up ActRaiser on
Okay.
mobile. The ActRaiser, Square Enix put out like a whole remastered edition. It's a $20 version of the
Okay.
game on Google Play. It's real good.
I like it.
It's like this great fantasy mashup, 2D and 3D, different mission segments. Some feel more platformy. Some are kind of almost like base building.
Mhm.
I like again, you got to peel the Steam Deck out of my hand for brief periods of time, but this is one of those games on a phone that like would absolutely just occupy my game time back in the day, especially before I had a Steam Deck. So now it's going to be competing right now.
Yeah.
And I got this from one of my producers at Slick Deals. If you go to Slick Deals and you look up, there's a PayPal Google Play combo deal. So
Okay.
there are two different PayPal promotions running right now, and I think they end tomorrow. So unfortunately, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, it's probably going to be too late. But if you can get $10 off of like a $15 purchase, and you can get $5 off of a $10 purchase, but they'll stack. So if you spend over $15, you'll get $15 off your
Okay.
purchase if you pay through Google Play using your PayPal account.
Okay. So
So
PayPal as a payment on Google Play.
ActRaiser is $19.99, and I lined up those two coupon codes, and I got ActRaiser for $5.
$5. Yes.
It's
Okay, so
real
good.
good.
Yeah, so if you're listening for the for the amazing 34 people watching us right now, if you're in the mood in the actually this could work also on many other things too as well. So make sure you use the that promotion and if you have a PayPal account and link it up as a payment, that's actually
Yeah.
pretty decent. $15 off of anything you're buying there is pretty good. What I would
I mean, you
probably
could grab yourself it has to be over $15 though.
yeah.
So if you
Well,
get
obviously,
something
yeah,
that's
they don't.
$14.99, it's not
They're
going
not
to
gonna.
trigger the combo of those two. But it's I don't believe they're supposed to work together. I think they're supposed to be two separate purchases, but because one's $10 and one's $15, they both flip at the same time.
Always
And
fun
that
to
promotion
catch
ends in like another day.
So Slick Deals is the place to find things that are not supposed to be working together. It's the
Right?
site you look for.
They
Earlier
hire me to play with Legos, so I'll occasionally have to say like, go check out their website because there's some really great, I mean, like some really rabid coupon and
No,
deal
absolutely.
hunters on that site.
I subscribe to Slick Deals updates on a daily basis, so I get their updates every day. I like to get them every day because things are very fluid. But on a
Hmm.
side note of things that are supposed to work but not really work in the right way. So today is the day where the OnePlus 10Ts officially became available to purchase. Right, this is officially the
Sure.
people that pre-ordered would should have already gotten their hardware. Now it's basically people can buy it on
Hmm.
Amazon. They were selling the 60 the 1260 the 256 for 220 for 629 $20 cheaper than the 8 128 for the
Yeah.
first few hours. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Not only are you not selling it at the $100 more price for RAM, but you're selling it under. Like,
Yeah.
this must it was either an Amazon fluke or maybe OnePlus trying to stir up some things. So I posted about that. I mean, I think Greg saw that it already kind of they're now equal in
Hmm.
price. It's still at a
Sure.
discount. You're buying the higher storage and RAM for the price of the lower end, but you're still getting the latest SoC, 120 frames refresh rate, crazy fast charging, 125-watt charging with
Hmm.
this thing with a brick in the box. So
Is it 150 or 125?
international is 150, US is
50. The
125.
US is
Yeah.
125.
Well, and technically the charger is 165. It's overrated for the production, but what
Oh, we
happens is
can. Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense
yeah.
for
So
sure.
to keep because of the fluctuation of the current, especially within the US or at least internationally. So yeah, we're definitely not using it to its full potential, and it still does 45-watt PD, which is great for your buddy right here, because that's
Hmm.
what I need to charge it. So
Yeah,
again,
I actually because I have the Steam Deck charger in my office, And then when I'm playing in bed, I have my OnePlus charger, and it's
I never
been working great.
I put the Steam Deck charger in the baggie that they gave me, right? And then there's this little space that it's intended to be in. I haven't taken it out since day one. I haven't had the need to take it out. Every time I charge it with my OnePlus charger. It's
The
really nice to
OnePlus
have a charge,
chargers are gold. They're
but
so good.
and they're so they used to only make them for the US, right? Like last year with the 9 Pro series, we didn't get internationally, you didn't get the PD charger because that was something they only wanted to do in the US. I think it was
Hmm.
some kind of a accommodation with US carriers. They wanted to have PD availability on them for some
Yeah.
reason. But this year we finally get the actually truly fast charging. We also get PD. So long story short, yes, if you're looking for an all-around good charger, yeah, the OnePlus charger is actually a thing that could do real well for you. Not just for OnePlus
I mean,
devices or Oppo.
if you don't have like a really cool Vivo handy to play with,
We don't all I mean, I have one,
I don't
and
know if Barry's
and
still
you're like,
here to give me a hashtag Vivo gang, but I'm just saying.
what?
Don't get me wrong, the OnePlus 10T. I mean, I'm sure that's fine if you're a filthy American and that's all you have access to, and you can't get your hands on one of these
It is
awesome
all I have access
Vivo
to.
90s, which is like a really cool phone.
Yeah,
So,
no,
you
no.
know.
Well, I mean, so speaking of phones,
I'm just trying to say I'm really special, TK, and
you
people
are
like
special.
me. And
You're so
Barry gave
special.
me the
You're
Vivo gang.
I'm sure the moment Barry heard it's like okay, bring in hashtag call the gang on. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I get it. And you got Michael Pepper's like Vivo X Fold as well, which is so yeah. One of the things that I think both Michael and Barry were talking on the podcast. Again, I was listening to it before we started the show. But I do want to talk. So we are going to get to the Amazfit watches, amazing watches, no pun intended.
1 second, I do just because we were talking about this, and JGJ asks a great question here. Are these new chargers? Wait, are these new chargers from OnePlus? Did they abandon the special charging standard? So, with the bringing in the Warp charger, right, the 65-watt Warp.
Yeah, so they stepped away with.
So,
yeah,
dash charging was completely proprietary in the dash chargers.
That was the old days.
Yeah, that only
Ever since
talked
they went
OnePlus charging. I believe, someone please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because you don't want to mess around with chargers. You don't want to get this stuff wrong. But I believe it was with the 65-watt Warp charger, the OnePlus charger is also 45-watt USB power delivery compliant.
In the US only.
In the United States.
That's the one I was referring to. When they first went with that charger, for some reason, they specifically, I mean, at least in the reviewer's guide that I got, they specifically put a comment saying 45 watt PD is only available on US variants, and internationally it does not. So it was 65-watt Warp, and it was at the time, I think, also compatible with the Oppo technology at the time. They already started to cross over with the charging.
That makes sense.
And then now this year,
So for JGJ, when you connect that charger to a OnePlus, they both speak OnePlus, and they can pump that phone full of 65 watts. When you plug in a Steam Deck, which talks USB PD, that charger can speak up to 45-watt USB PD. And so it knows what you're connecting, what device you're connecting it to. They talk to each other depending on the standard, and they're dual compliant. So you have your super squeaky fast OnePlus charging, and then you also have really highly rated power delivery.
Yeah, and also surprisingly, it spoke very well Samsung 45-watt, because that was Samsung's 45-watt PD as well.
Oh, Micah Purpertech saying he has a 65-watt OP charger that can also charge his MacBook at 65 watts. I don't know if the newer ones can hit 65-watt PD compliance. I don't know if that's... I haven't tried on my newest. On my OnePlus 10 Pro.
MacBook,
it's only 65-watt charging.
So I guess I need to try it. I've never thought of using it with my MacBook. I honestly, I always assumed, Android and stuff kind of thing, or, Steam Deck for me, or, Samsung. Because for me, it was the one charger that worked almost with everything I needed. I don't have a lot of everything. And even if you can...
My Pixelbook was so finicky on any other properly 45-watt power delivery rated charger. Or I have like one of those really great old RAV Powers before RAV Power got themselves in trouble with Amazon.
Oh my God.
Nothing would work on that Pixelbook except for the OnePlus 65-watt charger.
and I still use it. I still have it sitting on the right. Actually, the only reason I replaced it at the beginning was when I got the 10T, is because we finally were able to charge over 65. Actually, take that back. So the OnePlus 10 Pro is supposed to be able to charge at 80 watts, right? But the
Hmm.
charger that came with the 10 Pro came with a 65-watt charger because of
65 watt.
because of the US technology, and it was limited in the US. You couldn't charge at 80. Internationally, you were able to charge at 80. So the reason why I'm really excited about the new charger with the 10T is because it now gives us full 80-watt charging on the 10
Mhm.
Pro, and as well as 125 on the 10T, which again, if you are internationally, you could do it faster. But again, at this point, you're splitting minutes, really. I mean, it's
For
not,
sure.
it's crazy fast. Let's just say that.
God, it's so fast. I love it.
But
And it's
it,
the same thing. Like I went to
yeah,
the Vivo 9T and then I still have my Vivo X80 Pro and the Vivo X80 Pro isn't rated to the same charging speed as the 9T. Again, it's
yeah, of
like you
course.
always get one feature that doesn't quite match
It,
the
it's
rest. Like the premium phone lacks
it's
this
in
one thing
between.
that
Yeah.
your
So
mid-ranger phone
think
has.
90. Think of the Vivo X90, and this should be one of the things you like there.
I'm so, man, I'm so anxious about that X90.
Oh my God. No, no. But it is.
Oh,
I'm glad they didn't decide to go with the Pro Plus, and I'm glad that they're focusing on the 90. I think that's the right approach.
yeah.
And I think we need to also kind of we've gotten to the point where I feel like the less is more, refinement is better, and I think
Hmm.
we're starting to see more of that. Samsung, or at least some leaks are going around saying that the S23 series is going to be looking exactly like the S22 series. I'm like, did
Yeah.
they even change? But yeah, sorry. In my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, they may do
So
a little bit, but they should do
I
that.
mean, let's break. Those were both kind of not the biggest stories, but again, for
Oh yeah,
people
yeah.
who are more internationally minded fans of what's going on, obviously, like Pixel 7 is going to be dominating. So the calm
Oh yeah,
before
yeah.
the
By
storm,
the
we can
by
talk
the 6th
some.
of October, yeah. That's what I said. When
Yeah,
I said I was cleaning up shop, I think it wasn't because I
for
was
sure.
because I know that the moment that the seven is out, my mind, everything kind of like
We're going to be
shiva.
occupied.
Keep
So
perfect.
the X80 Pro,
Hmm.
there Vivo sort of was indicating that there was going to be an X80 Pro Plus, just
Plus,
like there was an X70 Pro Plus. But
yeah.
the X80 Pro is a one-to-one kind of companion to the X70 Pro Plus. So we were expecting an X80 Pro Plus that was going to be some kind of further enhancement.
Like an
And the rumor that was
8 plus
going,
Gen 1, right? I mean, I think that was
yeah.
the
So
inclination most right.
the two things, you take everything that makes this phone great, the
Hmm.
amazing fingerprint sensor, the great screen, the IR blaster, the good speakers, the wonderful main camera sensor, the good ultra wide, and then you swap out the 8 Gen 1 for an 8 Plus Gen 1. And then one of the other rumors was sprucing up the telephoto
Oh yes, 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 yes.
because
You're right.
the telephotos on these are really, really, really tiny sensors that are good in really bright daylight conditions, but they're not amazing
Not
in
not a,
really
like
bright daylight
not
conditions. And then when things get dark, they're they kind of struggle a bit. This is definitely, I feel like, the weak spot of the X80 Pro. I live out of the main sensor and the ultra wide when I use my X80 Pro. I sometimes use the portrait sensor because it's a really nice 50 millimeter equivalent. I
Mhm.
almost never use the super zoom telephoto. It's just not great.
I haven't
So
used
I
the
think
telephoto
the
on the X80
X80
either.
Pro Plus was
Yeah.
going to have at least a half-inch sensor for one of these telephotos. I think that's what the main rumor was.
So I guess what I would at the end of the day, I would say is they chose the better way, and hopefully we'll see those improvements in the X90. So I
Yeah.
think that's the main goal.
Go
And of
8
course,
Gen 2, keep
Agent
the
2.
rest of the hardware, just spruce up some of the camera sensors, and I think it's better than. So I mean, like the year that we got the X70,
Mhm.
they actually launched the X60 and the X70 in the same
Not,
calendar year.
I was gonna say, yeah, they weren't
Yeah,
too far along from each other. Yeah,
they
I
weren't
remember.
that far apart. It's like, it's the same thing. Like
It felt like a typo for some reason, but yeah, sorry.
But Vivo has this kind of problem too with different regions having different numbers on their phones. Like, there's already a Vivo iQOO 10, and depending on what region you're in, you get the
Isn't that
10 or you get the 9, but they're
nine?
very
Oh, is it the,
similarly built phones. They're almost
okay.
exactly the same. So again, I feel like this is them kind of cleaning house, getting their products back in order again,
Mhm.
and just focusing on the X90 launch, 8 Gen 2, refreshed camera sensors, and hopefully, fingers crossed, one of the rumors for the X90 is that it'll get the 1-inch sensor that we've been seeing on the Xiaomi.
On the
So I can't
Xiaomi.
wait to see what Vivo can do with that 1-inch sensor. I'm very anxious to see what their computational stack is going to look like with that hardware.
I can't wait, and I'm excited. I keep looking on Swappa to try to see if there's any good deals on the 12S Ultra. The cheapest I was able to find, it was like 900 right now. But
Yeah, I mean, and at that
it's
point, I think if you go to GizTop has already dropped the price for my variant, which I paid
Mhm.
1,200 for, 999. So even if you can save the $90, I think it's just better to get the brand new model, have it shipped directly from GizTop. You don't have to worry about any wear and tear, anyone
Absolutely.
who's used it or anything
No,
like that.
and for me it was so what happened is I was debating that picking that up or picking up the Sony, and because I saw the announcement on that one and I was like, okay, wait, let me see how much it is. Now that I was able to, since I was able to buy the what's it called, the Nothing phone from Amazon UK, I'm like, since Amazon now is willing to ship things internationally, it's like a why not? So I went on there and I saw it, and I was like, and I found one that was used. So that to me it was more, I know I cannot get it in the US. There's no way here anybody's going to get it. I'm buying it because and this is obviously purely for my own enjoyment. This is not for just for the content. This is me wanting to get my hands on an Xperia 10. I want to
Yeah.
see what the entry level Xperia series is in 2022, and this is the Mark IV too. So this is also showcasing whatever they like. I've seen the 1 Mark IV, the 5 Mark IV. Let's see what the 10 brings in. And I also got to pick it up in white. So to me, it was like, okay, bonus
Yeah,
level
you
achievement
gotta.
unlocked. Why?
All
Because we
right,
don't get any other colors. We just don't get them. In the US, we get like 2, white and blue. Sorry, black
right.
and purple.
So I just looked it up, GizTop, and if
Mhm.
Barry's listening, we need to send Sean a message. Right now, you can get the 12 gig of RAM, 512 gig storage model
So the best
for
one, yeah.
for $30 less than when I bought my 8 gig 256. So it's now 1,169 for the 12,512. And
That's
I,
crazy.
I I'm not one to, especially like imports. That stuff gets weird. I'm not
Mhm.
saying like, hey, this should be your daily driver. You have to expect there are going to be some issues. You try to use this in the United States. If you're in a market where this phone is going to be better supported on your local networks, boy, howdy, is this thing a monster performer. I mean, it really
We're
is
getting
one of
better
the
support
best
with international
performing
imports, by
phones
the
of the
way.
year.
Yeah.
It is, but I still have
Surprisingly.
really shaky LTE
Well,
with my 12S
you
Ultra in my
gotta
neck of the
you gotta
woods.
okay. So
So
on your next move, make sure you move into somewhere where you have a tower right in the middle of the house.
next move. Oh no, we bought this place. I really
Oh,
hope. I mean, that we were joking around. Marie was like, "Oh yeah, and maybe in 10 years we'll flip this house and we'll do something else." And you're like, right now I'm so
well,
tired.
you're
I could
like
retire here.
you're like, honey,
Like this is
honey.
gonna
No,
be
no,
the
no.
home I die in.
Our plot is in the back. No.
I know. I'm just like I dug up the little patio, breaking the rules of the condo association, so you and
And
me
I
can be
know.
buried together in the backyard.
We will be here
Um,
forever and ever and ever.
but
Yes.
but I mean, like in that crossover where the first couple phones that are coming out with 8 Gen 2s,
Yeah.
the 8 Plus Gen 1, with the attention to performance hardware that Xiaomi has shown
Hmm.
on the 12S Ultra, that's going
Yeah.
to be a tough phone to beat. I mean,
It
especially
is.
once you start seeing these kinds of sales, because
Hmm.
prices fall so fast, even on the premium tier.
Absolutely.
They're really, it doesn't get better for mobile photography than what Xiaomi has been able to achieve here. Main sensor to main sensor, I think it's even money between the Vivo X80 and the Xiaomi 12S.
Hmm.
But then you factor in the Ultra's really good telephoto sensor and the ultra wides being pretty close, and that 8 Plus Gen 1 cuts just enough thermal and throttling overhead,
Hmm.
and that, I mean, like that now is like you can buy high on a phone like that and expect like this is going to be a several years kind of phone.
Oh,
Like
absolutely, absolutely. It is
the
so
hardware is going to last.
it's so above. I say this not. I hope people understand that I don't try to make fun of it, but we are so overpowered in SoC performance right now to what we really
Yeah,
need on a daily. We can still go back to an 855 and an 845 and still be very happy.
totally.
Capabilities aside, I understand the new SoCs have better tricks, better processing, multi-channel recording. There's a whole bunch of different, but I'm talking about just pure horsepower. Nothing on the market right now that runs on Android needs more power than that. And so to the fact that what you're saying, absolutely, yeah, an 8 plus Gen 1, 12S Ultra, or should last you for 2 to 3 years easy.
Well, every
Easy.
every other premium, ultra premium tier phone is just going to be playing catch up to these cameras.
Yeah, this is the where you really like or you really love the technology that you're buying, and like so Michael Pepperdeck knows this. Obviously, he's a big fan as well, and
Yeah.
hopefully I think he got his back. I'm not sure if he got his device back or got
Oh,
it
his
fully repaired.
X80. I don't think he sent it in yet. I think they were saying that there were some issues with international shipping. So I think he's just been rocking his fold.
Okay. Well, I mean, so the goal essentially is that's one of the things you need to be aware of as well. When you do import a device, like for myself, I'm buying a device from Amazon UK. Something goes wrong with this. I get this unit and it's not right. It's on me to ship it back to Amazon in the UK. So,
Yeah.
let's just hope that this, Amazon Warehouse UK they did their job well. Let's just say that. Otherwise, TK is going to be bummed with a non-functional white. Uh, okay,
Less
let's not say
good.
anything. I'm gonna say
Less
less.
fun, and we're
I
jinxing
don't want
it.
to. Yeah, I was
So
gonna say I don't want to jinx it because that'll end up being what it is. But yeah, so hopefully we'll see. I actually kind of bummed still that the 12S Ultra is not coming to the international market. I'm also kind of bummed that we don't have the display. They took that away. That was like their experiment last year that I felt wasn't fully baked all the way. You know what I mean? Like it was still missing some
mhm.
functions. But it's you know I will get my hands on it at some point. I will have to figure out how to take it out of your hands. Obviously, without having to be dead body involved. I could see myself, Juan. Look at that. Yeah, no. So the only time I got a chance to see the
Oh,
device with Juan was when we went to the Peterson Museum. But at the time, I was focusing on a couple of other devices that I didn't have a chance because I wanted to spend time with his, but I was still also trying to do some. Oh my God, look at that! Just showing it off.
it's real pretty.
Uh, yeah, no, I know. I'm with you, man. I'm with
And
you. I like it.
what I like is like there are a couple of these phones that do kind of live up to the weird head tilt look that you'll get from people when you pull an import phone out of your pocket. Like again, I was hanging out at the park letting Lex kind of play around with some of her friends, and some of the other parents are talking, and I take Lex's photo from this, and that, like, what is that? Like
Is
you
that the
see
new
that
I?
kind of
You
quizzical,
didn't get
like
it. You
that
didn't
doesn't.
get that question right. That's not the new iPhone, is it? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I've been telling you, like, it's been so funny to see parents groups where obviously like iPhone is just dominating in the United States, but
Yeah.
I'm seeing some Pixel 6s. I saw one Plus.
Hmm.
Like the school demographic has some, like, there's some spread to it. It's not just all Samsung or all Apple. It's just not
I'm.
those two companies. So I
Yep.
pulled this out of my pocket, and you're like, someone will look at it, and you're like, oh, I understand that there are more phones out there than just these two
Sam Apple. No, no,
manufacturers.
exactly. That there are other companies that make things that you can make calls from. But no, the the niche level experience, like with so also one other thing also to mention, this week is also the week where the Xperia 1 Mark IV finally became available. So
Hmm.
if you're looking into picking up an Xperia 1 Mark IV in the US, you can actually pick it up now. It's available. It's in stock in most retailers or
Yeah.
e-retailers, so Amazon, B&H, so, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but it's exciting because we were waiting for the longest time. We had such a long setback from when it was originally announced, and when we either you or I got a chance to play around with pre-production hardware. So we still, it's weird how we have all these conversations on devices with Sony, but we are always in that pre-production experience, and very rarely do we
Yeah,
get a chance to kind of circle back and close the loop.
for sure.
Uh, but the story that I'm trying to say is I was excited to finally see it because I got the email from B&H saying, "Hey, finally available now." Sony Xperia, well,
Yeah.
1 Mark IV, which again, one of the reasons why I kind of spruced up the idea in my mind, which, since my hand has been so itching and not having the 5 Mark IV anymore. I felt like the 10, because the 10 is a smaller phone, right? It's not as
Yeah.
big as the other ones. It's a 6-inch display, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it's 60 hertz. But we'll have to figure out how to live with that. At some point, we'll have to work something out. Long story short, very excited. I will definitely, hopefully, we'll have it for next week's show. If we don't, then we'll have to bring it. Sure, I want to show also Juan, because neither one of us have had a chance to play around with the 10. So I'm excited for that part. Very
that'd
much.
be cool.
Yeah. Plus, of
sure.
course, plus Pixel 7 Pro, the other thing happening.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
That whole.
I mean, we've been having so many of these conversations.
So
I
want to. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I was going to say. Do you remember what happened last year when Google was really announcing the Pixel? How Apple decided to make an announcement?
Oh yeah.
Will this happen again? You think on Tuesday Apple will announce some kind of BS thing, whatever, not BS, but like something basically just to be in the news?
Oh, that's a good point.
So that Google doesn't actually take the. I'm anxious the whole time. I'm thinking
Apple is so poopy about that kind of stuff. You know what? They
will not let Google have their week. They were like, we were there too. We did the thing. It's like
we did something too. Where's our credit?
Remember,
we need our credit.
Oh, God,
that's right. Bespoke fold. I feel like Apple and Samsung are actually in the worst position right now, where the momentum of $600 Pixel phones.
Oh yeah, the
is really attacking sort of the consumer perception at sort of Apple's weakest spot. And it's definitely kicked off this aggression from OnePlus. Like BBK brands in general are really hyped up on this. I have to believe that like the Xiaomi, because there's a 12S Ultra, and then there was a 12S Pro. Is that
there was a 12S Ultra, 12S Pro. I want to say there was a 12S.
Is there just a straight 12S?
There's a S Pro and Ultra.
And Ultra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. And I don't think there's
too many.
Yet. I haven't seen a light.
Too many phones in my brain. But where you've
like
got
Michael Corgan, he's like he has too many new phones. I'm like, I get it.
No, I just can't. But where we saw, like all of these phones suddenly started hitting like the $600 to $700 tier, undercutting the iPhone 14, which is basically just an iPhone 13, and doing so with some pretty remarkable hardware competition.
Yep. Yeah.
And so when you've got a $599 Pixel 7 with the same size image sensor as what's found on an iPhone 14 Pro, that is now a very interesting conversation to kind of rejoin, where I don't need a lot fixed on the Pixel. I need a better fingerprint scanner. I need a little bit better thermal overhead, and I need a spruced up modem. And that's all of the major rumors that we've heard from the Pixel 7. The rest of it is bulletproof.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the Pixel 6 Pro has been an absolutely phenomenal experience, minus the couple of times I get poorer reception than my wife's Pixel 4a 5G. And I do wish it could run a little bit more efficiently, especially given the 90 to 105 degree weather that we sometimes experience here in Southern California.
Which is crazy, because we got another heat wave that just hit us the last couple of days. We were back over 100 again. Like, when did we not get the memo? Did somebody want to send
We got the like, again, for this time of year, we just broke another record for like the hottest day ever recorded in this time of year.
We're not, what am I talking about days? We're 2 days away from October. We're in October. Like, send a memo. It's like, hello. No, I know.
Like, it might be too hot for my daughter to go trick-or-treating. Like, I remember when I was a kid and it was way too cold to wear your costume. You always had to put on
before the
jacket.
pandemic, not 2020, 2019, I want to say, was a hot year for trick-or-treaters. I remember there was a year where Omar had to take off the costume because it was too warm.
Fair.
Because, but it also was, I think, because Halloween was also during the week. I think this year, if I'm not mistaken, it's on a Sunday, or is it on Monday? I think it's a Monday.
I don't know. Yeah, I can pull it up real quick.
No, it's okay. I mean, it's Halloween. It's coming up. We're literally a month or so away. maybe we should start talking about themes and what we're gonna do for that show,
No,
the
the
week of Halloween.
31st is on a Monday.
It is,
Ugh.
yeah. So that's what I was thinking because I remember Omar's trying to do things do a thing on Saturday with his friends, and that was going to be a couple of days before Halloween. So yeah, trick or treating on a Monday. That's going to be fun. It's just, I know that look on Juan's face. Somebody
I
should
just
snap
feel
that.
bad. I mean, like I want my daughter to like have fun and experience this, and I know her school is going to be like, and make sure your kids are up bright and early and full of candy. And you're
And
like,
then eat too
okay,
much candy.
cool.
Yeah, or so in depending on the schools that you're in, at least for us in our junior or in elementary school, they used to also ask us for any excess candy that we didn't want to donate because they would
Oh,
basically take the donations there. So depending on the school,
yeah, I don't give
um,
away candy, so that's not going to happen. I
somewhere in
mean,
Juan's house,
I'll,
there's a
I'll
snack.
fundraise
There's
for
a
the LA Food
there
Bank,
there is a
but
barrel of
you
candy from 2021 sitting there,
pry
and Juan's like, "I am
my
going to."
daughter's Halloween candy from my cold dead hands.
Oh my god! Did you ever try to trick your daughter, basically to say, that the candy's all gone by the next morning when they wake up? Did you ever try that trick at all? We tried it
No.
once on Omar and it didn't work because he saw Jimmy Kimmel. He's like, "I know what you did. I've
Uh,
seen it. Where's the bag?" Because we put some
that's
wrappers on the floor.
hilarious.
Yeah, we're not good at this.
I don't, because my daughter is a little young for her age, and she's
I
for an almost 7-year-old, she's still got this like wonderfully pure, sees the best in people, and her parents are just some of the most bitter and cynical, acidic people that you'll ever meet. I'm talking about her parents in the third person. Marie and I
Yep.
are some of the
If
most
if
tired
that's how we're
and
gonna do it
bitterly
now.
cynical people that you will ever meet. And we just take such joy in our daughter's sort of discovery and meeting new people and always seeing the best in any situation. And
Yeah.
when she's confronted with like terrible behavior, even from grown-ups, she always tries to find like a meaning or an understanding. And so those kinds of pranks, like if she was a little bit, if she was a little edgier in her jokes, I would maybe think, okay, that could be kind of funny.
Yeah,
But
you'd be
she's
able to take it literally. Yeah, she
so,
may take it literally too literally.
yeah, and and
Yeah.
and and I would hope that she would take it for the joke that it is, but just exposing her to that kind of prank, which I've always thought has been a little mean spirited. Like you've got to have just
Oh,
the right kind
absolutely.
of kid
No,
to play that
absolutely.
joke with them.
A very small number. Yeah, because the level of what you do, the level of going there, like I remember as a kid, candy was the thing. To take away my candy was literally like as if you just punched me in the gut. It was that bad of a situation. So to do so, especially for a kid that really worked hard that night, and because to them it was this is it's an endeavor, right? It's a trip. It's a
Yeah.
journey of going and knocking on doors and getting candy and all that. I walk around neighborhood doing things that you typically,
Hmm.
don't do. So in our mind, we were trying to see if it would even pass, but I do want to say I do apologize to your daughter for the idea, because if she does listen to this podcast down the road, I don't want to go on her bad side, since I think
She's
she
like,
likes me. So I'm just gonna leave it in that matter. So
it's
yeah,
gonna be like a Kill Bill moment 20 years from now. Some
do you
lady's gonna show
remember?
up with a katana.
Do you remember
That's where
episode 88? Do you remember episode 88 at 1 hour
that's
and
where my dad
17
learned
minutes?
it from, TK. He learned it from watching you.
That's the
He learned it
inception
from
point.
watching you.
Oh my God, yes. So I will say that, yes, thank you. Sorry, I do apologize right now. We take that back.
That's okay.
Let's just restart and talk about
Lex,
something.
it was all in fun. You don't need to
It's Jimmy
slashy
Kimmel's fault.
slashy
It's
with
Jimmy's.
the
It was Jimmy Kimmel's idea, not mine. Back.
yeah,
I will
you're like,
backpedal as fast as I can out of this one.
yeah,
No, I.
cut the evil off at the root. Don't start with the little people affected by Jimmy Kimmel.
No, no,
Start at
absolutely.
the head of the snake.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so, with that being said, so we can turn it into something a little bit better.
For sure.
Let's talk about some cool wearables, tech things
Yeah.
that kind of look like
I
watches. No,
set
just
it
kidding.
down and now I have no idea where I put it on my desk.
Is it not on
Oh,
your?
here.
Why is it not on your wrist, my friend? Yeah. So Juan and I got a chance to. I don't
Oh,
know
it's
if
not
they did
even
this on
booted up.
purpose. So we have access to both. Juan got the GTS 4, so he got the S series. I got the R series. The R series looks more like a standard watch. It's the so let's go. Look, I'll take off mine so we can do the modeling. Let's see. Can Sony or yes, Sony does like it. So you get a very nice implementation. Of course, now Sony is just like right there. The GTR and the GTS gained microphone functionality, also gained Alexa functionality. I don't know if yours was. Yeah, it's not going to work. Well, because
It's
you're
not
running
gonna,
NVIDIA.
yeah.
NVIDIA, yeah, NVIDIA was like no
Wow.
bueno. No,
Take
NVIDIA is like,
that,
I like your face. It's
NVIDIA. I mean, the camera is still doing the focusing, but anyway.
Yeah,
So yeah, mine. I mean, it's all the same features. I think the major difference is if you can wear a larger clock face,
Mhm.
watch face. The GTR has a little bit bigger battery,
I was about to say,
and
yeah,
then
it's
the rest of the
practically.
feature set is very similar. Same
Do you
thing.
have two buttons
It
or one button though?
just one button.
So so that's the other different. I have two.
So the second button, you leave it dedicated to
It's
workouts.
yeah. So the second button
Okay.
dedicated to workout. Primary button.
So yeah,
one button for
I
apps
just have to go in through the app drawer and
and
touch
find
the
it.
workouts button there.
So is your press and hold on the main button take you straight to Alexa as well? Pre-configured to that? Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that's what it is. So you just have to kind of find it, or you could swipe left, go down, and you'll find your workout. You can kick it off from there. It's I like the overall improvement. I think you mentioned it in your video. Not that I want to take anything away from that. Please make sure to check out the GTS video Juan posted today. Yeah, notification on camera, not working. Yeah, look at the hand model right there with the tongue sticking. Overall is aesthetic. The last time we looked at, I think was at the T-Rex series, which is more of a
Yeah.
rugged version of it. I also find like it was lighter from the weight of a watch. Like the GTR, for me, feels, for the lack of a better word, it feels like what the watch should weigh. Kind of reminds me a little bit of what
Yeah.
the TicWatch. I've been playing around with the Samsung watch for some time because I want to finish up the video for it. But I wanted to push out the GTR because it's been a little bit. And I feel like Samsung, you could just push the video on that one anytime. People will always love to see an opinion on a watch from Samsung. Not that I'm trying to make excuses. I am late on the game, but it's exciting to see a watch that can last seriously over 2 weeks and like still have a life.
Well, because I wasn't doing a whole bunch of aggressive workout tracking.
No, absolutely.
I went
this is absolutely with
2
with
weeks on my first charge of the GTS with room to spare.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that the GTR could probably give you another day of that kind of casual
a little
use
bit more
easy.
depending on the
So,
so depending if you're running GPS, depending if you're running a lot of runs, and tracking and so on. Also, if you wear it at night and it's doing your sleep tracking, there's a whole bunch of other things that you could do with it. I typically don't wear watches at night, so this is my
I can't.
only thing.
Yeah.
Because I also don't want to get the notifications. I don't want to, have it tangle in the whatever. It's, to me, I'm sleeping, phone sits away, everything goes away.
I just managed to do that thing, like I'm kind of a restless sleeper, and I'll like, let me just kind of roll to my side and throw my arms up under the pillow, and now
then
my
the light
wrist
comes
is
up.
bent.
Yeah.
Or no, my wrist gets bent in a funny position because there's this lump attached to my wrist, and like, okay, now let me move it, and then that's when like light is bursting in my face because my arm is. So I just take off my watch at night. I could probably benefit from that data, but I can't. I just can't get used to it.
So for me, this is the biggest thing for me. I like the fact that it runs like a watch. I loved the battery life. I love the improvements. The integration with Alexa is great. And
it's cool.
I would like to see the Google Assistant as well, since they're able to get it run there. But I guess I don't know if it's a limitation because it's not running Android. That's the other thing. So it's not running Wear OS.
Right,
it's running
Zep OS.
Zep OS. So long story short, if you're looking for a fitness tracker that looks really good as a watch, or even more so like the TicWatch that we reviewed not that long ago, because I think yours looks closer to that more the square.
Yeah, the GTH.
GTH, yes. I think they both offer.
Because it also looks a little like the Xiaomi or the Poco, the little square and rectangular trackers.
No, I know. I have quite a few to the design. Yeah. It's just that at the time when I was speaking to our contact, they asked us, like, do you want the GTR or the GTS? And then I remember always wanting an R because the R series always looked more like a regular watch because it was more circular, right? It was just more of that. And now it happened to be a few differences there. But long story short, my video is going to come out tomorrow, and of course Juan's video already up. I think it's public. It is public. Yeah,
it's
I got
public,
the notification on Patreon, but I think you pushed it at the same time.
That one kind of just went out at the same time for both.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. It is very close to peeling me away from my proper computer smartwatches.
The tick watches, yeah.
And the thing that kind of gets me, I was actually just in the comments on my video kind of complaining about this, is we're so close.
Mm-hmm.
I can get 2 weeks of casual use out of this watch. It's rated for like 4 or 5 days of heavy, like fitness tracking, sleep tracking, all of your notifications, all of your alerts, maximum screen brightness, GPS, blah, 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 blah. It's rated for like 4 days of really aggressive heavy use.
It's amazing what you
got
get when
microphones
you move away from Wear OS, but yeah, keep going.
Well, that's just it. So yeah, this is what we were complaining about. It's got
Yeah.
microphones, it's got speakers, it's water resistant to 5 atmospheres, it can do swim tracking and workout tracking. It's got all of these installable applets. Like in terms of useful apps on your watch, it's pretty close to Wear OS. And the only thing we can't do is get support for rich notifications on Android. And if I could just do that, I would immediately retire Wear OS. I was in the comments with someone. I had the Qualcomm Talk. I had the Pebble. I had the Focals by North. All of these other platforms that aren't Wear OS, they're not Android based. They're lower power watches or lower power. I mean, like the Focals by North was a headset, but you know, like there was no reason why we can't have speech to text transcription to reply to messages on a non-smartwatch.
They
There's
got
no
better.
reason.
I will say that they are. It's a lot better than what we've seen in past generations. You get now the text message with the icon of the app showing you exactly where it's coming from. Like if I'm getting a message from not TikTok, from like Twitter, from Instagram, from my messages, or from YouTube, I know exactly where it's coming from.
Sure. But I want to reply to it. That's the thing that keeps me on Wear OS.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you're always having to kind of do a callback to going back. I was hoping with the fact that we had a microphone and Alexa functionality, maybe they'll integrate some Alexa response in there, but we're not there yet.
But also, think about where we've been though.
Show up. So if you get messages with images or media, like for WhatsApp, I'll get the message and I'll get the word picture.
Yeah. And I'm willing to even compromise on that, because I mean I do like on Wear OS on my Tick watch that I can kind of see
you see the
more.
Picture, yeah, you can see more. You have
or even for silly things like on OneDrive, it says, hey, these are your memories from this day 5 years ago, and one of the pictures will show up on my watch. But I will happily sacrifice all of that if I could get 4 or 5 days of runtime. And I just think we used to have the Pebble Color, like. Pebble smartwatches had this kind of rich notification reply support. The Qualcomm Talk, TOQ, had this kind of speech-to-text transcription and rich notification support. None of these were built on the kind of robust, full computer operating system that Wear OS is built on. I need one of these RTOS or ZepOS watches to just finally kick over that hurdle where I get the same
and they're very close
notification support that I can have on all of these other products. It's killing me because it's like we're right on that wire's edge where I'm happy to walk away from smart watches when a dumb fitness tracker can do all of the core communication stuff and does the fitness stuff better.
Fitness stuff, body composition, blood oxygen level, heart rate, stress level. There is a lot of functional features that you get into in Amazfit. Amazfit is seriously one of the very few companies that put out hardware that is truly dedicated. I'm not want to say the word glorified, but a really good looking fitness tracker that also is getting very good at being smart without sacrificing the battery. And this is the biggest thing for me. When you get an Amazfit, it's a smartwatch that you know that you can pick up, that it will last.
Yeah.
And so with the first couple of weeks, casual using, notifications coming in through, I didn't have any issues, but I was also kind of a little bit lazy for 2 weeks. I wasn't really working out. So that didn't really do a lot. I got my steps, but I think it wasn't really like a fitness outdoors, GPS and so on.
I was not. Yeah. I mean, we were working out. This is like the worst shape I've been in all year. just from like the
You
minimal level of
you had like a
activity that we
54
could
minute
hit.
in your video. There was like a 54-minute was it like 54, 50 something minute
Oh
walk
yeah,
that you were doing? Yeah, yeah, outdoors. So
yeah.
we're trying to get back into it. I'm trying to get back into running again. I miss that runner's high, that feeling that you get
Mhm.
at the end. It's tough. It's been the weather
I
hasn't
I
been
don't want to
helping. Let's just
give
say that.
up any content on my channel, but
Yeah, no,
while I do enjoy, like a good hike through the hills here, and you can kind of keep like, 5K at like 6 kilometers an hour, kind of a thing. There might be some coverage coming up soon on these types of products that you sit on with pedals, and they have
oh,
wheels attached to them, and that form of locomotion and energy generation is then amplified by some type of electric motor type device. So I might be planning like a short video piece about like replacing
absolutely.
my automobile with one of these human and battery assisted
Just
or
did.
motor assisted locomotion devices for really long distance
Okay.
travel.
I will
So
I
so
will
that
I will
could
keep.
be a thing that might appear on my channel maybe towards the end of next month, maybe.
Okay. Well, for anybody that has not followed Juan, his links are in the description. Make sure to check out his Patreon if you'd like to
It's
support a
the worst
conversation.
tease ever. It was
Absolutely. You not only did you,
I
I mean, you did
nailed
worse
it.
than you you nailed something. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm not getting into that conversation now. I was like, no, definitely make sure to check out the channel. A lot of content typically goes out to his Patreon first, and then it
So
goes up to the public. So it's
I, I
always
I
fun to
appreciate I
engage.
appreciate the plug. I do want to hit this.
Always.
We've had a couple people commenting. I think Michael Corcoran and Simon says hypno, and I thought someone else mentioned it too. But so we both been playing with these fitness trackers, and these
Yes.
fitness trackers have gotten demonstrably smarter, even though I
Yeah.
still can't quite call them smart watches.
Yeah.
But given what fitness trackers are good at, the Amazfits are brand new. They're selling at around $200 a
But
piece for
yeah, yeah.
both the GTR and the GTS.
Yeah.
How do you feel that stacks up against like a TicWatch on sale? Because it's really not hard finding like a TicWatch Pro. You're only going to get like 2.5 days of battery life, but you're still got
It's
quite a bit of access to a lot of that kind of health tracking.
it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on the
No,
experience that
I
you're
want to
wanting.
hear you. I'm putting you on the
Okay, so for
spot.
me, if I had the
TK
opportunity to pick
Bay.
up, so if I
You've
had to
got
pick
that
one up,
Galaxy Watch. You've got the Tick Watch. You've
I
got.
would go with the TicWatch. I mean, to me, I don't mind. I think the TicWatch offers the solution that I've been waiting for quite some time: the performance, the RAM, the storage, as well as the battery life with the dual display tech. It's an easy
Mhm,
no-brainer for me for the TicWatch. Nothing against Amazfit's technology and what they're doing. I find
mhm.
that so here's the thing for me. We are getting to a very close point. We've said this before. But to me, I am time is very precious for me, right? When I'm doing something, I don't want to have to go back to find where my phone is to try to respond back to something. To me, that makes it either A, I forget to do it, or I skip it, and by the time I
Yeah.
get back to it, it's out of my hand. So for those functionalities, I appreciate having a Wear OS based device where I am still able to do a good chunk of what I normally would have done on my phone on the device, and it works really well. I love the fact that the Amazfit incorporated Alexa, and we're starting to see some functionalities there. You can ask it and launch certain functions from it. But to a certain point, Wear OS, or at least the assistant, Google Assistant, is still the number one assistant on the market. Alexa is getting very good. A lot of people love it. But at the end of the day, all my devices run on Wear OS. I like
Mhm.
automation, turning on, turning off lights. Everything in my house runs on Wear OS. So for me, I gravitate towards what TicWatch offers at this point. It doesn't mean though that, and I'll be very frank, if I'm going on vacation and I know I'm going to be wanting to be more family oriented, less engaged all the time, that the Amazfit
Right.
wouldn't be the watch that I would rock for 2 weeks on it. Let's say the cruise that we took with the family, that took with the family when we were out. I'm not going to
Mhm.
lie, there was really not much use for my watch because I mean, even though I was like very in and out of internet connections, it's not like I was like constantly engaging, responding to
Yeah.
messages and so on. It was time to spend with a fam, and I feel like that works best. But yeah, we need to find a way to fix this. The response, the ability of responding to text messages should be should have been done by now. Let's say that.
Well,
We're
but we
we're
have a framework. We have
yeah.
there's already like permissions and an architecture built into Android
Yeah, yeah.
for other products to send information to these apps in very consistent and regimented ways. And it's the same thing. Like the main smarts behind Focals by North was
Mm,
Alexa. That was an Amazon co-funded startup,
yeah.
but it took them almost a year to do it, but they introduced those frameworks into Focals by North so that when a notification came in, you had the same options to, sort of dismiss the notification, to reply to the notification, to add emojis to the notification. Like it was all the same as if you were replying from a Wear OS watch.
Yeah.
And even though it was an Amazon powered product. And
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
no.
thing that's killing me is like I've seen it so many times before on competing products, different software, different operating systems, and it doesn't seem to me that it requires so much additional compute power to get those settings
It's I think
compatible
it's more
with
about
an
the
Android phone.
I don't think it's the direction that they're trying to move in. They're trying to still distinguish themselves away from being a Wear OS based device.
They are wrong, TK. They are incorrect. And I
Incorrect.
feel someone needs to write them a very sternly worded letter. Because the rest
Absolutely.
of the watch experience is stellar. And I
Oh, it's
feel
amazingly no. So look,
it's so
seriously,
good.
of all the other smartwatches that are or smart bands and so on like that, there's other
Hmm.
options available on the market. This is truly by far one of the more advanced ones. I like the haptics on it. I get the emails. I get the
Yeah,
entire email right now. I'm reading the entire
it's
email that
good.
I got in here, but the only thing I can do is delete.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
like,
you can swipe it away.
well, yeah, but I mean, you know
Like
what I
you
mean.
can swipe it off
Swipe
of
away,
your
yeah,
notification.
swipe away as a notification. But I'm like,
That's
so
it.
that is a feature that I like. Like I got an email on my Gmail, right? It shows up here as a Gmail. I select it, and I'm scrolling. I'm using the scroll wheel, which is the other thing I forgot to mention, and I
Yeah,
think
the
you mentioned
crown.
it. So the
So good.
crown is really good, and it has a haptic feedback as you're moving it.
It's got like almost a pluck to it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly,
like
just so that you know you're
there's
moving
no
it.
resistance to the crown. So it's not
No, no,
like
no, no, no.
you
It's
feel
absolutely
tension, but the way that the haptic responds, it almost feels like like a clock tick over or like a rubber band
a little bit
kind
of a
of
rumble. Yeah,
pluck,
the vibration
pluck,
motor kicks in, and you're like,
pluck.
okay, I get it. And then you move it, and you're like, yeah, the whole watch vibrates.
So good.
So the implementation of the function that we get there is still close, but my hope is that maybe in the next series, the GTR 5 at some point, or the
Right.
GTRS, or
I
maybe
just
I'll think of it,
feel
maybe the Pro series when they release the Pro, because there are
oh, that's
typically
right.
going to be the
Because
Pro series.
we're because they go off cycle, so the pros
Yeah,
come out later. Yeah, that's
much later.
actually a
Yeah.
good point. That would be a great pro feature to kind of add like $20 to the price of the
Oh,
watch.
absolutely. Would totally sell it.
The
Buy it.
that would light me up, and I
Yeah.
feel like we'd still be in really good territory there, where because the last kind of thing I think point to sort of spoil TK's review, um, the I
It's pointing out like, who's that on the cap of Juan?
I feel oh yeah I'm sporting
Yeah.
merch.
No, I'm sorry,
I
I'm recording
feel
myself. Yeah.
my criticisms of this like again I'm not trying to
Yeah.
diminish
Make my head
my
look bigger.
personal experiences. Like I feel I'm always correct, and anyone else who thinks
We'll just
differently
make the
than me
show branded at this
is
point. Yeah.
boom, do it. And we're both
Yeah.
wearing black shirts. I love it.
I got it.
The my reasons for criticizing the watch are very specific to a type of mobile compute kind of use, and I
Yeah.
really do feel we have trained consumers so well with products like Fitbits
Hmm.
that this style of watch is probably going to be more popular simply for the battery life. And when you put up the GTS, and I'll be curious to see your thoughts on the GTR, but when you put the GTS up against some competitors,
Hmm.
it's either more expensive but with more fluid operation and way easier health tracking, or
The
it's
Zep
a
app is
little less
actually
expensive.
very.
The Zep
Also,
is good, but
one thing to yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, I'll
but
follow
what I
up
was
on
going to
that.
say is like I mentioned this in my video, Mobvoi, I love their watches, but their implementation of a PPG sensor is two-handed.
Hmm. You
And
still have
Zep
to do
is
yeah.
doing something, or excuse me, Amazfit with Zep, they're doing something where their collection of PPG sensors is giving me just as granular a sort of health tracking experience with only having to hold still and keep the watch on one hand. I don't have to touch a separate sensor
Create
to
the
get
circuit.
some of this data. So the Amazfit's more expensive than the GTH, but I feel the Amazfit is also a little bit more convenient for the same style. Or you can go a little less expensive than a Fitbit Versa. And the main advantage of the Versa seems to be at some point, Google will eventually give it Google Pay support. And so we will never get payments on an Amazfit, but it does have support for like your membership cards and
Membership
your
card.
loyalty cards and stuff
It has
like
a voice
that.
recorder, memos, and stuff like that. It has,
So
I mean, it has a very well-rounded suite of apps. And you
if
can
you're not
download.
looking for Google Pay, which still doesn't exist on Fitbits as far as I know, you can get roughly similar competitive. I think they actually get slightly better battery life if you're not running them too hard, and the Amazfit is just a little bit cheaper than a Fitbit Versa. So again, I think it's interesting kind of seeing where these in-betweeners are. If you're just looking for basic step tracking and heart rate, please don't buy these. $200 is gross overkill for
Yeah.
just like, I count my steps every day. You can do that for like $30 and a half a ham sandwich. Like that's
There's
so
some
easy to
there are
find
some
something
phones that'll
that'll.
even do it for you without even having
I'm
a legit track, yeah, a pedometer. Yeah,
I'm even starting to see this is an interesting trick. I wonder if it's going to take off because it never really did before. Some phones that are now starting to use the optical fingerprint scanner as a heart rate monitor.
Xiaomi did that. Xiaomi did that a while back.
Oh, so Xiaomi did do that. Okay, okay.
Early in the year, I want to say the 12 Pro has the optical fingerprint sensor. Essentially,
I need to see because the 12. I don't know that the 12S Ultra can do it. Let me see. I'll have to see.
if I'm not mistaken, it was under advanced or extra, or I don't have my I don't have my 12 Pro. So I mean, I have it, but I just don't have it handy or turned
No,
on.
I just pulled up the Ultra. Let me see if I can while we're talking this out. But anyway,
Yeah.
short story, incredibly long.
Because sorry.
Yeah, right. I'm very taken with the Amazfits.
Same. Yeah.
I'm seriously starting to recommend them over products like Fitbit. Obviously, if you're in Apple territory and you're looking at Apple Watch, that's a completely different kind of conversation. So that wouldn't be a one-to-one recommendation. But I really like the GTH from Mobvoi. I really like the GTS.
Oh, it's under additional settings, by the way.
Additional
so
settings.
Darren Mitch's, yeah. So I think that's what it is. It's additional setting. I don't know why I said advanced, but it's been.
No,
a while.
I don't think it has it. Ignore gesture shortcuts, quick ball, screen recorder, one-handed mode, accessibility. I don't think it's here. I don't think the 12S Ultra can do.
Do you have?
I'm in the additional settings right now.
Okay, but do you have advanced maybe?
Oh, special features maybe.
Yeah, special.
Front camera, tap plus, floating window, second space, kid space, MIUI lab. Let's try that. Nope. No, I don't think the 12S Ultra can do it.
Maybe just do a search.
I did.
Oh, okay. So then
I did TK. I did that.
Well, no. So
I
that
did
may be
the
a
thing.
feature specific to international.
I searched for the word heart, and it came up with hearing. So it can take me to the accessibility hearing settings.
Your heart
for searching for the word.
Are you heart? Okay.
Heart.
So it could potentially be something maybe with international MIUI devices.
I'm feeling like you lied to me, TK, and it hurt my feelings, and I don't know that I'll ever be able to trust.
I got Darren on my side. He's pointing
again.
out to the right section. Don't make me try to go look for my. So I want to say I've seen it on Xiaomi devices. I'll say this. I want to say I've seen it on Xiaomi devices. There is probably one more brand that probably did that as well. I don't know why I want to say,
but sure. But again, that whole tangent that we just went down was simply to say
there are other options.
Don't buy one of these watches if you want basic heart rate and basic step tracking. Yeah. A simple band. In fact, Amazfit sells bands too, but like the OnePlus watch is a really simple RTOS. Samsung bands are pretty good. I mean, there's so many different ways.
The Mi Bands.
The Xiaomi Mi Bands. Absolutely. There are so many different ways that you can get
$40 on Amazon. Yeah.
So cheap. Yeah. And again, what I would say is probably better than the comparable, more expensive Fitbit version of
Yeah,
that style of fitness tracking. You really want to step up to one of these watches when you need more granular tracking data. You care more about your blood ox, your the styles of workouts, the
yeah.
better GPS radios.
Hmm.
The did you play with the course track? The I didn't mention it in my video. I made it all the way through the script. I was editing it and completely forgot. You can pre-plan your route, and the GPS on the watch will
Tells you
keep
where
you alerted as to whether or not you're staying on your route.
as
And
you're okay.
this is
Okay,
a fitness tracker. It's not a smart watch.
watch
And
it.
that kind
Yeah,
of stuff is
above.
crazy. I mean that it's that sophisticated.
One of the other things I always want to mention too is that Amazfit also has other health and fitness connected devices. They have a smart scale that's actually reasonably priced that you could use with in
Yeah, for sure.
conjunction with your watch in the Zepp app. Their app is very well rounded and has a lot of granular data if you want to basically dive into it. Also connects to the to either the Me what is it called? The Me Fitness app. It connects to your Google Fitness account, connects to Amazon. So it actually also exports data to other applications. So it's not totally
Yeah.
independent. And it so there's a lot of things in there. This is one of the reasons why I like the Zepp app. Overall, where I still feel like TicWatch needs to focus on when it talks about their tracking data and so on. They do provide the data, but I feel like their app still needs a little bit more development to try to get to that level of professionalism. Their last
Yeah.
refresh on the
It
TicWatch
was a
app
big
or the
step up.
Mobway app, it was definitely a big step,
Yeah,
and it's moving in the right direction. So yeah, long story short,
for sure.
it's a great watch, but there are certain things obviously you need to keep in mind when you're getting into something like this. As you said, it's fitness focused. Fitness comes first. Smartwatch or
Yeah.
smart functionality come right after. And it should be because that's what their focus is. They're trying to stay in the
I
fitness
think
business.
I think the one thing I would like to see is obviously it couldn't be truly medical grade with the way that this watch is laid out, but I would
They,
love to see some kind of support for like AFib.
yeah, yeah. Which I feel like still, what's it
I
called?
still feel like in
The
Android
Samsung watch.
land,
Yeah, in Android land, Samsung is
Samsung
about the only.
definitely takes the win.
Yeah,
I have gotten an AFib from my TicWatch, and
yes,
it's a very concerning alert when you see that pop up on a watch screen, and you're like,
crap.
oh, you know what? I'm a ways out from having seen my doctor. I should probably go say, hey,
Yeah, yeah, and I
that's
think
gross.
I think
So
yeah, and every time I remember to do this, I call and they're like, yeah, we'll give you an appointment in 3 months because apparently to them
that's not
that
terrible. I called my GP, and I'm into like 2023 before I can get in to see them.
well, I
So
mean, hey man, we're October practically, right? So
no,
October is
I'm
already
sorry.
we're
I mean, well into.
into
I mean, my
okay.
appointment is now on the books for March,
Wow.
so that's a bit
So
out. I
post
mean, Marie and I
CES,
are
post
actively
S23
talking.
launch,
I know so much excitement. How can my
so
heart handle it?
I'm hoping your heart
Um,
can handle it. Hopefully, yeah, man.
Marie and I are actually talking like, hey, I might just need to get a new primary because that's ridiculous.
There,
So not
I
great.
yeah, and I hope you do find something
Until
very
then, I've got
supportive.
my tick watch to let me know if I'm about to have a stroke.
Let's just hope it doesn't give you more notifications close to each other. Um, but I do want to. A lot of things going on with the watches. We've covered a lot of really good tech conversations, and I'm really happy that we were able to touch base on the different aspects of the tech kind of going on. I typically we try to condense our schedule, our titles in the video to the main content that we're kind of putting out. But obviously,
Hmm.
tech happens in so many different ways. Um, the last thing I wanted to kind of bring up is
Sure.
how much I've been enjoying using the Mate XS2 from Huawei. But the
Oh.
main thing that I feel like will speak to you, my friend,
Uh-oh.
is this phone has a special feature that it's
Yes.
this is not it. It's
Go
like
on.
I would like to say this is the feature. You open it and you get to play with it. Okay, so just for reference, this is a video that I shot on this. This is a by no means a quality video. This was purely meant to demo this function. The
Hmm.
editor in the Huawei Mate XS2, it's a full-blown editor.
Whoa.
Full-blown with quick cut, speed changing, animation, filter, transitions, deleting obviously, exporting frame, picture in picture, crop, rotate, detach audio, copy,
Nice.
replace, masking, chroma key, AI fun, which is obviously something, switching, opaquency, reverse, freeze, and voice change
And
in 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 the
can it do
default app.
multi-track or layers or
It does on sound. So let's go ahead and bring up sound. Okay, so sound. I don't want to add sound effects. It does sound effects, of course. So we can allow music. Yeah, music in here. We'll go back. I want to say it does multi-track, but I don't have. I didn't add any. I don't have any audio
like can you
files
at
on there.
least like throw like I would imagine you could at least throw text and stuff like that up
Yeah,
on top of your edit. Okay.
add
I need to play
text.
around with that.
Add text
I
and
finally got
keyboard style animation
yeah,
bubbles.
that's so much
It,
better.
it is built in.
Yeah.
Like no subscription, no monthly. Call me.
Because
Call me
I
maybe.
just got the update, and so I haven't resubscribed to KineMaster in over a year. And I just got so I whenever I test in KineMaster, I just deal with the KineMaster watermark.
Yeah.
Like I've stopped fighting it, and I don't really use it to cut my own personal videos. But that KineMaster raised their prices. I'm really anxious that Power Director might soon
Follow suit.
like
Yeah.
jump up because they could double their price and still be half the price of KineMaster. Let me see if I can pull. I don't know what phone I
So
had
the
it
app
installed
specifically,
on.
by the way, that's running on here is a pedal app. It's a pedal video editor. So it is built into Huawei devices specifically for Huawei
Hmm.
because Huawei leverages pedal as their pedal search, and they labeled that part of their UI. But as I was going through and I hit that edit button, I was like, "Oh my God,
Hmm.
what the hey? This is," and I was like, "Oh, no, oh, you're kidding me. You could, yes. Oh, picture in picture? Like we're like if we can get it to focus. Yes, here it is. KineMaster Premium is I can't read that. Well, maybe I can make it. Maybe if I can make you larger. Oh, so $9 a month.
No, no, no,
11.99.
no.
Oh no, that's yearly with 9 a
If
month.
you
If you
pay
do the yearly,
yearly,
you get it.
a
Yeah, so
hundred and
120.
$20 a year. If you only
Wow.
pay monthly, $12 a month.
Hey Juan, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm my math is not good. I don't do really
Mm-hmm.
good. If it's $9
Sure.
a month when you're paying it a year, how is that 19.99?
No, it's one hundred and
1990. Yeah, but
nineteen
how
ninety
is it
nine.
though? It's so
No, no,
nine
no,
nine
TK.
nine nine times 10 is
So
90
you
9.
take 9.99 times
Uh-huh.
12 months, and then you just
Oh,
kind
it
of
said 9. It
add.
didn't say 9. Did it say
No,
9.99 or
no,
9?
no, wait. So this is how you do it. You take 9.99,
Uh-huh.
9.99,
I was like,
and then
is
you say it's for 12 months, right?
uh-huh.
And then you just add $110 to 9.99,
And that
and that's
becomes the
your
price.
yearly price.
So the math is
I mean,
yeah,
it couldn't be simpler, TK. It's basic math. It's simple addition.
I may have to talk to my 7th grade son and hopefully he
Hold,
can
hold on.
coach me on this.
I mean, again, I'm very slow when it comes to this. So let me just pull up. I've got a
No.
calculator.
Because it said it was
Nine nine
$9 a month if you
nine.
paid a yearly
Yeah,
price,
but no,
but then
yeah, yeah.
but it
Times
was
12
119.90.
is $119.88.
No, but did it say 9.99 though, or did it say
No, it
$9?
says no, it says 119.
No,
Hold
I
on,
know,
let me
but
pull it back up.
under the label
This
that
is
you
the
had at
most
the top.
ridiculous.
I'm
No,
sorry,
it's what they say. It's
but the bubble at the top.
119.99,
Yeah.
and the bubble at the top says $9 a month.
See, that's what I'm saying. $9 a month times 10, 9 times 12 is
Yes.
not
So
120.
add 100. No, I'm
I
really
know,
just
I know.
screwing with you at this point. I think
I
we all understand the point that you're trying
It's
to
more expensive than
make.
what they're labeling it. Like whoever did this is like did not either follow the math or like it's like just say it's 120. They'll buy
So,
it. It's
but
the
I
argument.
need people to kind of understand
Sorry.
how much did you spend on DaVinci Resolve Studio?
I want to say wasn't it 17 what no oh crap. 240.
240.
240 and that included the
$240.
controller. I bought it
You
specifically
got
because of
and
the
you got a
and I got the
hardware controller
controller. Yep.
to edit your videos with $240.
Yep. Brand
When
spanking
did
new.
you get that?
Uh it's about I want to say it's been over a year and a half now.
Over a
You can
year and a
hear it
half.
when I got the 2080 Ti. No, not the 2080, the
So
3080 Ti. It was
38.
right when I got the 3080. It was just Premiere was barking all over the
So
place, and you turn me on
I
to DaVinci.
I got DaVinci Resolve at version 15,
Oh
and we're
wow.
now at version 18.
Yep.
When I bought it, we didn't get the cute little hardware controller that you got, so I'm really envious of that. But I spent about $250 for a full professional cinema Hollywood grade nonlinear editor with some of the best color correction and plug-in tools the world has ever seen. And it
Yep.
was $250. And I've not spent a dime
On the
in
any of the upgrade.
3 full generations of that product. And
It's
here
like
I've
when we
got a
bought.
phone video editor that if
And
I
but you
go
paid full
third
version the same way I did. You paid for the full license
back in the day,
back in the day.
but now if I go 13 months on a yearly subscription will have cost me the same as my full desktop grade editor. And as soon as I go to 25 months, I'll have spent $120 more than my full desktop grade editor. And once I go to 37 months, I'll have spent twice as much on
No,
a
it
smartphone editor
it
as I
kills
did
me.
on my full workstation grade,
So
production grade, Hollywood grade
have you played
desktop
have you
software.
played around with CapCut by any chance? It's a
Just very little. I don't like the way that CapCut kind of scans your files as you start up your project. It's great. It's a great editor. Like the actual tools when you're editing
yeah, yeah.
are solid. I do not like the way that you import files into the project.
It
That is such
compressed. Yeah, it's like proxy. It's
a
creating proxy
silly
files.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
It's
It's
proxy.
such a silly thing to get real pissy about, but that's one of the reasons why I've still stuck with Power Director is I can just drop and edit directly
In 4K.
and yeah, and it's been
No, no,
great.
no, I
So,
absolutely, absolutely. So, no, but to kind of not make the video not too long, overall with the evolutionary upgrade of the Mate series of foldables, because I got a chance to see the original Mate foldable during a trip when while I was still working with XDA to Shenzhen to Huawei's main campus. And we got a chance to play around with it. For the most part, really, the looks didn't change much. It still holds the same aesthetics. It's an external display format as opposed to internal to what we see with the Fold. Still
mhm.
has that little, I like to call it the spring mechanism where it springs the out.
Yeah, that's cute.
But the thing that speaks to me and that speaks to people like Mr. Juan Carlos Bagnell is no crease, baby. There is no crease.
Yeah,
Your
that's
finger smoothly
beautiful.
goes across, right, left, any on orientation. You get that experience. And it was like, yes, this is the way to do it. This is the way to experience it. Also, the case that comes with it, which I feel like is an ingenious invention on its own, because I want to make sure I put it in correctly. It looks like a regular phone.
Nice.
I mean, it's foldable. Obviously, you
No,
still see the crease
that's
there, and
yeah.
it's the same thickness as my S22 Ultra in a case. I
Which
was
means
like,
it's going to be the same thickness as your S23 Ultra?
absolutely. This is why we're doing it now. We're talking about it exactly. This is going to be the better's. No, yeah. I mean, so the thing for me, this is why I'm like, Samsung is. Don't get me wrong. I am not taking anything away from what Samsung has done in the evolutionary and popularizing
Mhm.
foldables, but they're like, and also just kind of like a side note. Not that I want to segue into another thing, and I know we're getting into that to almost 2 hours. They showed off massive on the Intel convention, their brand new
Yeah.
rollable displays for their PCs. So those are the displays I saw at CES earlier this year. I didn't personally see. I heard of, saw in a video. Edabong, our mutual friend, had access or saw some of
Mhm.
those. That tech exists for Samsung. Samsung has better
Oh yeah.
displays, has better tech. Why are we still talking about a phone that still feels like two phones slapped on top of each other as a foldable phone? Is the solution I don't understand. We
I
need we
I
yeah, like they're
I
very complacent. Literally, they're just happy with where they
I
are.
feel not just complacent. I feel like
Wait
the
till Apple makes
current
this foldable
leadership at
device. God help us
Samsung.
then.
No, the current leadership at Samsung is how can we copy Apple's strategic business moves in increasing accessory sales, and how can we cut corners to save costs on our phones and then still charge the same or charge more to
Every year.
increase our profit margin.
It
And we don't have leadership at Samsung that I think represents the glory days of when you and I were like really big
Oh,
Samsung
yeah,
nuts.
absolutely. When Samsung was
So,
innovating, when they would stand on stage and say, "Look, we took away the SD card last year, but guess what? The S7 series is bringing back the SD card." Like
mhm,
this, to me, that blew my mind when I was there. I was at MWC during that was the one year
yeah.
but prior to this year going there, I was there and I got a chance to see it in VR and when the Gear VR was still a thing.
Right.
You remember that was like light years away there. So to me, this is why. So in my mind, like in the video, I was trying to kind of not that I'm trying to clickbait people, but I literally pointed out to this and said, this is a foldable phone. And I wasn't holding a phone that was folding. So the purpose of that, obviously, I'm hoping people got the point. But there are so many more options. Now, Huawei does still make a version of the Mate series, the foldable, looks exactly like a Samsung
Hmm.
foldable, but it has a bigger display on the outside. What
Yeah.
we get, Find N, better display functionality. Samsung's comfort needs to be disrupted for them to
Hmm.
innovate. And God help Samsung the moment Apple makes a phone that folds, because
But again, we
Samsung
keep
would.
seeding this conversation and seeding these strategic advantages to Apple. With I mean, really, I mean, there's also just the
Well,
laziness in the
I'm only
tech
saying is
press
because
that.
right now it's purely from because I'm only commenting on it in the sense of what is the current ecosystem that we have, right?
Hmm.
Motorola, the only other competitor that was putting out foldables in the US, decided to launch their
Hmm.
foldable in China. They saw what's going on. They realized like
Yeah,
there's no point in trying to compete with them in the US. I
no.
understand that. So the only with the current rules, not that I like the rules, but the current board and the current rules of the game that we're playing in, the only company that's going to make Samsung get off their butt and go do something about it is the people they've been copying for years. Because this
Yeah.
whole keeping the same design of the S22 Ultra to the S23, I don't disagree. I think it's a great idea. The design doesn't need to be refined. Them moving
Hmm.
the thing and they're probably going to do this, by the way. Even though they look the same, they'll move the camera sensors ever so gently so that all the accessories on the S22 will not work on the S23.
Oh,
Apple does
of
it. They're
course.
definitely copying the right design. But what kills me though is seriously, it's just the lack of options. This is why I'm frustrated. I get a chance to play around with some pieces of tech, a device like this, which thanks to Huawei for letting me actually play around with it, uh, that exist in the ecosystem. I got a chance to see the Honors releasing their foldable early next year. They announced
Hmm.
that at IFA. I was going to say FIFA for a second there, but yeah, that my wife keeps calling. Every time I told before going to Germany a few weeks back, I kept telling my wife I'm going to Berlin for IFA. She kept thinking I was going to FIFA, and I'm like, no, there's no soccer there. That's in Qatar. It's a different play. Yeah, you know what I mean. Long story short, it's frustrating, and it's hard for me to try to explain why I'm frustrated, other than to say, look, the fold is great, but it's not the best solution. There's so many more better options out there. And having S Pen functionality on a fold is great, but it's not the thing that everybody does all the time. It like I said, it's I want I want us to be exposed to more tech. I want us to have better options so that the
Hmm.
consumer has more, can enjoy their technologies more and not feel like, oh, if I want a
But it's the
foldable, it's
twofold.
yeah.
It's the twofold effect because on the one hand, I think consumers can. We know it won't happen here in the United States because of the way that carriers
Oh,
influence the
absolutely.
purchasing decisions of consumers. But
Yeah.
idealistically, it would be the consumer on the ground can get the better fit for their needs, and companies are facing more direct competition
Yeah.
so that their products will evolve at a more aggressive rate. Right
Yeah.
now, from when I started covering more Chinese phones to today, because there was a whole like dry period there. Like I was coming out of pocket now, and I was doing kind of the first couple of years returning to my own personal channel.
Mhm.
Oppo phones weren't really a thing. That was that whole
No, it was harder.
mid-range era
Yeah, yeah.
of Oppo phones, and over the last like 3 years, the sudden surge in Vivo, in Xiaomi, in Realme, in Redmi, in
It
Poco,
it's a
where all of
positive
these.
side effect of the pandemic, bro. because people
Well,
weren't going to
but
their events. They started focusing a lot on trying to reach out to other creators and people to work
sure,
with.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
No, the reach out to me is great. But what I mean is, we saw at almost every $50 price tier, two or three Chinese labels
Hmm.
doing vicious battle at that price tier. And it
Absolutely.
could be a Poco, it could be a Realme, it could be a Redmi, it could be a properly labeled Xiaomi. And
Oh, there.
across that
I'm sure there are
entire
other labels
spectrum
in
from like,
in Asia that we don't even know about yet. But yeah, no, I'm
yeah,
with
I
you.
mean all the other sub brands. But what I mean is from like $200 to $1,000,
Hmm.
those companies were tooth and nail fighting for that kind of consumer, and that's where we saw some of the biggest sales increases from Xiaomi.
Hmm.
That's where we
Yeah,
saw all the collected BBK brands start outpacing Samsung, and
yeah.
all of those products got radically better over a very short period of time. I still laugh because I still get the comments on my Vivo videos like, "Why are you talking about a Vivo? They only make cheap phones." And you're like,
You haven't
"You're
talked. You
3 years out of date.
you haven't looked at Vivo lately. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have
No, I
you
know.
have you just like, I don't know, like opened your eyes and looked in that general direction, because that is not the reality of that label today. I mean, you pick up a Vivo 9 Pro and that is a gorgeous piece of engineering that 2 years ago I wouldn't have said would have been possible from that label. And
Yeah,
that's how fast they've, over those 2 years,
yeah, yeah.
Samsung phones have gotten less good. From an S20 to an S22, that's gross. It's really, the S22 is such a bad phone. It's so not good. I just, if we can't sort of acknowledge, because what you're saying, and this is again, it's a really rambling way of agreeing with
No,
you.
absolutely. Thank you.
There is the consumer confusion right now. We have too many good phones. I'm actually writing a script for reviews.org, their mobile channel, and we've kind of lost sight of, we've kind of forgotten all of the other brands that still do kind of sell in the United States. If it's Google, OnePlus, Motorola, ZTE, like there are actually a Sony. There are actually these great competitive options that you just won't see at a carrier store, and that to me I think has become the most heartbreaking part of this. It's difficult getting a consumer to care that they've got choices, and someone who's only using $1,000 phone to like iMessage their family and friends isn't going to be impressed by all of this sort of choice and spectrum and pros and cons and the nuances of all these different devices.
Hmm.
But it's really just a shame that we've let the conversation sort of devolve
Yeah.
into this apathy and acceptance of
Hmm.
less competition. Again, it's like I'm going to
It's so
be
tough.
spending what, yeah, I mean, we're spending what time I have left on my channel just like, hey, we're probably going to lose this fight, but I'm not going to just give up
Yeah.
and
No, no.
lose. I'm going to try and at least point this stuff out. And then once it all comes crashing down, I'll still be like, hey, I'm in the United States, but I am using my Vivos and Xiaomi's. So I'm still going to have fun, even though
And we
I
have so
can't
many
use
other
them in the
options,
United
and
States.
Vivo's jumping into the foldable. We have Honor, again, stepping away or stepping from under the Huawei label and really striving to provide very good. And you get IQ and BMW, because why not? I got a chance to play with that one. It's really good. Uh, but yeah,
Such a
so
good phone.
that's the thing, though. And this is what I'm trying to say is more and more devices that are imported are working much better with sub 6, that I'm starting to weird I'm hoping that there is no overstepping boundaries for some reason or another, or it just, at least for me in my area, T-Mobile just happens to work really well. Like seriously, like ultra wideband, everything ever since they started leveraging the bands from Sprint in my area, it's been like night and day connection speeds all over the place. But to kind of bring things together, I know we're kind of hitting that whole 2 hours and 10 2 hours and 10
Yeah,
minutes.
we're
So
we're a little over.
we're a
Yeah.
little over. Yeah, we can never fit under two. I mean, we used to like the first two shows, but um, so there's going to be a lot more coverage, a lot more things kind of going on. I will say with a certain certainty that we may need to be, we will let you guys know roughly if things are going to go for next week's show. We may need to move it a little bit, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a heads up on
I
that
mean,
part.
nothing's happening in exactly 7 days.
Nothing is happening on the
Nothing,
6th at
nothing.
all. At absolutely at all. So yeah, if you guys can't figure that part, I'm just kidding. We'll let you guys know. Obviously, IQ90 apps. Barry, the
Barry with
guy,
the Vivo, man. Barry
dude. I
knows.
I I got it from Barry. This is how typically the chain kind of goes. Juan
That's
sends it to
right.
Barry first, and then Barry sends the stuff to me because that's how we do it.
Oh
Because the
man,
X70 Pro
yeah,
Plus
no
was the
lie
exact
detected.
same trip. It's the same trip.
That
But
was a good.
yeah,
That was a good round trip. Yeah.
it's always fun. So the hopefully I was going to ask you to kind of circle back with you, Juan. Any
Yeah.
other content kind of on the
I
schedule for
have no
this
idea.
year? Okay, for me
I
at least,
wrote
it's
up
going
an
to be the
edit.
GTR. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna put out the GTR. I don't know that I'll be able to finish it off. I'm so close to being done, but it's just proving to take a little bit more time to staple all the pieces together. I still want to show off that Unihertz,
Oh yeah.
the Titan Slim,
Mm-hmm.
and so that might go out. I also have an editorial written on the Patreon,
Mm-hmm.
talking about the Tensor 2,
The
and
new
I might
Tensor.
make that a public post maybe early next week before the actual Pixel 7 proper announcement. It's basically, I mean, we've talked about this kind of stuff before. I'm not dropping any major truth bombs on anyone, anything too hypey, but just kind of spelling out what I feel are some of the areas of polish that I would want to see.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's not much that I would tweak on my Pixel 6 Pro to warrant calling a new phone a Pixel 7 Pro. I think we're in really good shape. It just does need that second generation iterative
Mm-hmm.
refinement. And that might go out maybe over the weekend or maybe early next week.
Okay.
But other than that, it's just trying to keep plugging along because we've got some major devices coming, and I've definitely got to wrap up some of the things that are sitting here on my desk.
Same, absolutely, yes, hands down. That's typically. So for me, my goal is obviously to try to get, not my goal. The GTR video will come out tomorrow. Saturday we'll have the Android Bay. The show will definitely go on. I'm hoping by Monday there's something. I can't say yet what it is because the embargo is tomorrow. But by the time the video, it's an audio piece of tech that I'm really excited to check out. So hopefully I'll be able to put that out on Monday and then Wednesday before we get into Thursday. And of course, where Pixel Land becomes kind of like it'll be a blur of pixels at that point
Yeah.
going on. So I'm excited for that. And, hopefully we'll get everything kind of up and running. And by next week, when we talk again on our show, we'll be full of pixels. Let's just say that. Hopefully, I don't know. I can't.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm saying very hopefully, crossing fingers, hoping. Um, but with that being said, I do want to say thank you very much to everybody that hang out with us this late in the evening. Simon, Barry, Michael Peppertech, Darren, and I think Scoop. I don't know if he's still with us. I know Marilyn had to drop off as well as Greg.
Mhm.
So everybody just spending time with us, kicking it with us, and just sharing their content and sharing our passion. That's the best way to say it, because I think that's what it is. It is late, but I do appreciate you guys staying with us. So thank you very much. Be safe, stay safe. Thank you, Juan, for hanging out with us, with me as well
Always.
on your Thursdays. I love the fact that we hit 88. It's a double eight, very lucky number in the Asian
Yeah.
community.
We're
If
going
you know,
back in time.
yeah, because 1988, that's how we do it. But with that being said, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye for now.